Yes, beautiful people. How are we doing today? How are we doing today? आज Tuesday है भाई और आज स्पेशल डे है because this is something that I've started doing from last week, that is the yellow room. और इसके बारे में अगर किसी को नहीं पता तो it is basically a room where I try to bring in the best person possible to explain one of the most complex and relevant issues in that week. और उसी थीम पे हमने लास्ट एपिसोड किया था वेयर आई थिंक वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट लिवरपूल. वी हैड लाला भाई, वी हैड आश भाई एंड वी हैड सूरज भाई एज वेल. सो बेसिकली आज आज का थीम आपको टाइटल से पता चल ही गया होगा. I think we're going to talk about one club that is very mysterious in a way, which people just don't understand as to what goes around that club. Always starts with a lot of expectations, and somehow every year they find themselves in a position where they don't know what to do or what to say. So मैं आज के पैनल में मैंने बहुत रिक्वेस्ट करने के बाद और बहुत ही ग्रेशियसली आई थिंक I've got the most famous Spurs fan in India, at least for me at least, and I think one of the most genuine persons that I've met on online. और बड़े ही blatant, बड़े ही सीधी तरह से बात करते हैं. He never minces his word, and it's a pleasure to have him today because I think he'd be in the best position possible to explain us as to what happens around that club, as to what the real issues are. Is it the mentality? Is it the managers? Is it the players? Or whatever? Yeah, it is mix of everything else. और ये क्यों जरूरी है? ये इसलिए भी जरूरी है because I personally feel there are very few people who talk about this, but I really wanted to do it, and I thought I have a stream where I can pull people together and talk about it. Joining me would be Nathan Bhai as well, who would have his united perspective, and also Manas Bhai, a beautiful person that I personally feel is one of the most analytical guy that there is, or Arsenal supporter hai, but I think he watches football very differently to like most of the people. So it would be very interesting to know his perspective as well. तो मैं सबसे पहले बंजारा भाई को इंट्रोड्यूस करता हूँ, अदित भाई को, दैट इज, एंड जस्ट गिव मी वन मोमेंट, आई फक्ड अप द थिंग. या so
Hello,
Adhit
hello,
bhai,
hello.
welcome to the stream bhai, welcome to the stream for the first time. How are you feeling today
Thank you
bhai?
for having. भाई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं कहना चाहूँगा आपने मेरे पे लांछन लगाया भाई. आप कहाँ इतना रिक्वेस्ट किया भाई. एक बार पूछा, दूसरी बार मैंने हाँ बोल दी तो
I mean,
हाँ
I
भाई
mean, my bad.
लांछन लगाया जा रहा है दोस्तों भाई. सिटी फैन ऑन टू स्पर्स फैन, बट कोई बात नहीं, चलता है. थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी मैन. काफी अच्छा लग रहा है यहाँ पे आके, एंड आपने काफी ज्यादा तारीफ कर दी है, एंड पता नहीं मैंने ऐसा कुछ किया है नहीं किया है, बट थैंक यू फॉर एवरीथिंग.
हाँ भाई, बिल्कुल किया. आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस, फॉर पीपल हु डोंट नो, बंजारा भाई का बहुत ही बड़ी कम्युनिटी है विच ही केटर्स टू. आई थिंक ही इज वन ऑफ द ओजीज इन द दिल्ली कंटेंट क्रिएटर सीन्स. बहुत बड़े लोगों के साथ उठना बैठना है उनका, बट आई थिंक वो खुद भी बहुत बड़े हैं, बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली आई थिंक उनका दिल से भी बड़ा है, बिकॉज ही इज ऑलवेज बीन वेरी रिस्पेक्टफुल एंड ऑलवेज बीन वेरी वेलकमिंग टू एवरीबडी. एंड आई थिंक जिस पैशन से वो सपोर्ट करते हैं स्पर्स को, for people who have not seen him, please go check out his videos. Top notch, top quality reels that he produces, both in Instagram as well as in YouTube shorts. और उनकी स्ट्रीम्स भी बहुत पॉपुलर होती हैं. तो प्लीज उनका टाइटल पे मैंने दे दिया है उनका चैनल का हेडिंग. प्लीज यार, इट्स जस्ट अ हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट. जो लोग भी यहाँ देख रहे हैं, जस्ट डू दी ऑनर्स. Please go, first of all, go and subscribe to On Side Banjara, and then you can come back and again enjoy the stream. Until then, I'm going to introduce my second guest. और ये guest भी बड़े important है मेरे लिए, because I think वो भी ज़्यादा appearances देते नहीं है, but I've been trying to get him into my stream for so long now, and I also got an opportunity to have him as well. And joining me is Manas Bhai from who supports Arsenal, but उनका POV बहुत important होगा इस पूरे discussion में, because I think he is one person who has seen the Arsenal rebuild closer to anybody else, and I think it would be very important to know his perspective on what Spurs are doing. So I would welcome Manas Bhai here. Bhai, what's up, Manas Bhai? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
थैंक्स फॉर हैविंग मी भाई. एक ही बारी तो आपने बोला और मैं तो मना भी नहीं किया आपको. एक बार
भाई ये आदमी स्कैम कर रहा है सबके साथ.
नहीं, I can clarify. So बंजारा भाई के टाइम पे what I was trying to tell him कि मैंने बंजारा भाई को पूछा था, but बंजारा भाई said me कि मंडे को एक बार पूछ लेना भाई दोबारा, and I said okay. And then Manas भाई, if you don't remember Manas भाई, I asked you once more, एक बार और पहले पूछा था, where you said भाई I have a pot shot to cater to.
Yes,
So
yes,
that is
yes.
so he also remembers. I'm not a liar bhai, I don't lie. like people have alleged so
वकील
many
साहब
comments,
अगर वकालत करते टाइम थोड़े बहुत इधर उधर ना करे तो कैसी बात।
which is fair. Also we
Fair
have one
enough.
of my favorite person on the internet, by for his candid approach towards football, the OG. Everybody loves him, and I think it is very interesting because Nathan Bhai has seen football longer than, like, let's say, anybody else in our panel. I think his takes are very unique, and he doesn't budge whenever someone tells him other way. So it would be very interesting to uh, hear his perspective on the particular discussion. So welcome, Nathan Bhai. How are you doing today, Bhai?
Yes. Can't complain. I don't have to watch football this week, so that's nice. My whole weekend opened. I went out after what seems like couple of months. So yeah,
So
can't
so
complain.
so so
Life is
basic so
good.
basically you're saying you are happy not competing in the competitions. This is what you're implying.
Listen, yeah, here's the thing. I mean, you have to give other people a chance even sometimes. I believe in sharing the wealth. As the great poet Aubrey Graham once said, if you don't share the wealth, how is the wealth supposed to grow? You know.
I don't even know
Like,
who is the poet that you
Some
named. That is
some
the
some
level of
people
intellect
some
that I
people
have.
see some people call him Drake, but that's his
Okay,
government name.
Drake. Okay. So for people who
wow.
don't know, Nathan Bai is a massive Drake fan, and I am not. So that discussion on some other day. But everything aside, I think we should start by just saying it out loud that this is not a troll stream or a banter stream or anything of that sort. It's purely intellectual, purely detailed discussion based, and this is something that I introduced because I really wanted to introduce a stream where people can, without joking, talk about the serious issues that are revolving around Premier League itself. So I would straight away go to Adit Bhai first of all, and I'll just straight away ask you, Adit Bhai, what is it with Spurs that every year they start with a very high expectation, and going into the season, let's say January, December, by the end of December, we are always trying to justify as to why it hasn't worked. So what are the
Mhm.
things that you have noticed throughout the year supporting Spurs?
भाई, there are a lot of issues. ठीक है, there are n number of issues, but the main has always been the way club has been handled, the way club has been governed, inka ownership. There was Levy, the Lewis family, the way. So it is not being run as a football club. It is being run as a business, because on business side of things, without even winning anything, we are eighth or ninth most profitable club. We are the richest club in London, एंड जहाँ पे आर्सेनल चेल्सी ऐसे क्लब जो मतलब बहुत जीते हुए हैं एंड काफी नाम है. सो इवन विदाउट द नेम, लाइक इफ आई टेल समबडी आई एम अ स्पर्स फैन, दे लाइक ये कौन सी टीम है, बट somehow we are richer than Arsenals and the Chelseas of this world. तो उसको उसी तरह रन किया गया. फुटबॉलिंग साइड पे कभी भी फोकस नहीं किया गया. हमेशा बोला गया जाता है कि विल फोकस ऑन फुटबॉल, विल डू दिस, विल डू दैट, बट नथिंग एवर हैपेंस. इट्स ऑलवेज अबाउट कि पैसा कैसे इन लाया जाए. एंड द विनिंग मेंटालिटी नहीं, इट्स ऑलवेज बिन कि भाई पैसा कैसे निकाला जाए. सो दैट इज बिन द मेजर इशू. एंड द वे, सो फॉल्स प्रोमिसेस, आई थिंक दैट्स द राइट वर्ड. फॉल्स प्रोमिसेस क्या, तो ये होता है कि आप फॉल्स प्रोमिसेस फैंस को दे रहे हैं. आई थिंक द बोर्ड, द ओनर्स, दे गिव फॉल्स प्रोमिसेस टू देमसेल्व्स कि हम कुछ अलग करेंगे, बट दे नेवर डू दैट. एंड सो दैट इज द रूट कॉज, मैन. दैट इज द रूट कॉज, बिकॉज जो ये अपना स्टेडियम बिल्ड किया, इट इज द क्या कहते हैं, यूरोप का वन ऑफ द बेस्ट स्टेडियम्स. ट्रेनिंग फैसिलिटीज, इट इज द बेस्ट ट्रेनिंग फैसिलिटी. ये है क्या कहते हैं अपना यूके में. बात वही आ जाती है कि आपने महल खड़ा कर दिया, लेकिन अंदर फर्नीचर आपने 1 BHK का डाल दिया, तो फिर क्या कर लोगे भाई. तो
Fair,
वही
fair.
बात
I
है ना.
mean, and to be fair, I think Adit bhai, you would also agree. I think this is not what the fan would want. So yeah, we understand the commercial side of it. I think that they're one of the best run club in Europe as well,
Yeah.
and they are debt free and everything that is. But I don't think a fan would really want to have anything to do with that. Like, a fan would
Yeah,
really
yeah.
want his team to go on to succeed, because from where I am seeing, I think they've made every good step in that direction. But somehow every year when they start very well, they somehow collapse, and it's a very big myth for me as to why it always happens. Sometimes we kind of blame the managers of his own attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we blame the injuries. Sometimes we blame the fans, the mentality, and everything that goes around it. So on that very note, I think. And I'm going to straight away ask Nathan Bhai for that. I think Nathan Bhai, do you also feel that chopping, changing managers is one of the root cause of their downfall? Because I think United have also found themselves in certain situations, and if you can draw any parallel with why United still is very relevant and they still go on to be relevant in terms of trying to get into top fours and everything with all that is happening around United, and why not Spurs? So if you want to draw any parallel to that.
So I think the parallel to be drawn is there, but I also think you have to take a realistic approach, right? Because for many of the years we have not been good. We still have money to spend, or owners who are willing to spend money, whereas their owners are not necessarily willing to spend money unless the price is right. And
Yeah.
with respect to everyone here, the price might be right for you, but it might not be worth it for the person who's actually interested. So
Yeah,
therefore we are not pressured into buying your players. If we are trying to, if you're trying to extra money from us, we're not interested. So I
yeah,
think that way we didn't have that problem. We didn't mind paying above if we had to, which is most of the case. And we got the players we want. And to some extent, we managed to stay top four present last season, excluding obviously. Uh, Never mind about that. So the thought of it, Piyush, I can't even explain it to you. But anyway, so we spend all this money with the hopes of at least competing, right? If there's no guarantee in winning, because obviously the neighboring teams are also spending money, also
yeah,
paying over the limit, by the way, for the means at least some of them. So I think that way there is no comparison with respect to
yeah,
Spurs. But that is
yeah.
by choice. Let's be very clear. That is by choice. That I would say is one note you have to take into that factor. With regards to chopping and changing managers, I don't think Ruben Amorim survives if Jim Ratcliffe doesn't own our club. What I'm trying to basically say is we would have never finished 50th. I think last season was a complete anomaly whether we can get back to the glory days or not. It is an anomaly of an anomaly because they had to back their first ever managerial signing, and they could back him until they couldn't back him anymore. It just
Yeah.
became untenable. So if that is the Glazers, that man doesn't make it past this last season. He just doesn't. It's as simple as that. Whatever one may think about the Amarim or not. So I would say the chopping and changing of managers in our case is mostly because we are not competing in European spots. When did Ole get sacked? When we were eighth. When did Ten Hag get sacked? When we were eighth. When did Jose get sacked? When we didn't finish eighth, ironically, but we just, we were on a losing streak. We could have still
Yeah.
probably finished top four, definitely in Europe with Jose as well, but they didn't want to continue with him.
Yeah.
Ralph Ragnick was interim, obviously, and Ten Hag. I mean, he won us two trophies in 2 years. So, for lack of a better word, there is a level. There is a level that we find unacceptable until last year, of course. So I think you can't compare us that way. But in terms of in the first part, you can definitely compare. We are chopping and changing managers for completely different reasons. But
Yeah.
in terms of like being tight, being run as a business instead of a football club, Tottenham can definitely be run as a football club. They have the money for it, for
So
sure.
that's a very interesting take. I think the key takeaway from whatever
It's the
you were
same thing I
saying,
said to
Nathan.
Utkarsh, by the way, a couple of days ago when he made an emergency stream when the manager got sacked. I said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you have to understand something, right? He told me the Spurs owners are not good owners. I said, that's where you're absolutely wrong. When you say owners, no, you missed one word: business owners. They are the
Mm-hmm.
best business owners in England next to the Glazers.
Yeah.
They are not good football owners.
Yeah.
You have to, and the reason you have to emphasize that is because one has complete evidence of the opposite of what you're trying to prove. They are fantastic business owners
Yeah.
and they are terrible football owners. You have to draw
Yeah.
the comparison. You can't just say they're bad owners, because that's not actually true.
Fair. But I think the line must be drawn there. I think Nathan Bhai, the key takeaway from whatever you're saying was key. One of the key reasons of them not living up to the expectation starts from the very fact that they owners that do not want their team to be as competitive, let's say, as a United or an Arsenal or City, because they have the resources. That is what you're saying. They're generating the wealth. They're doing it. It's just they don't want to invest or reinvest rather on the players or the team, and that
Yeah.
is why, that is according to you one of the reasons. And I would straight away go to Manas Bhai for that, because Manas Bhai, if you remember, and I remember back in 2014 2013, I think most of the Arsenal fans also accused Cronkies of that same narrative, that I think what Nathan Bhai is alluding to, where Cronkies were just getting the money out of the club and spending somewhere else, and not spending wisely on the, let's say, on the footballing side of it. And Wenger, to be fair, was somehow stabling the ship. And it came to a point where I think there was a lot of revolt around the ownership. I think Spotify also came in, seizing the opportunity to just to get their share on Arsenal. But I think you would be the best person to describe as to how that changed for your club, and what can Spurs do from your model, take away from your model.
So if for the Arsenal model, I think I don't actually remember if Kroenkes ever took money out. I don't think they've ever done that. But KSE, so Sports Entertainment, their business which handles all of their teams, like in the US as well. They are sports team owners. Like, so what Nathan Bhai was saying, they understand how to run a sporting side, right? As well as a sporting business. So how do you marry those two things? They know how to do it. And what they refuse to do in the decade where Arsenal was like his last decade, and where he was managing, he was getting his fourth every season. What they refused to do was commit any cash flows or money to the club, because it was a dual ownership, and they were the minority owners, right? The
Okay.
majority own, I think they were the majority owners, and then there was Kusunov ने क्या नाम था उसका मैं भूल गया.
वो
This
तो
guy,
डिफेंडर है.
this Russian oligarch who was the other party who owned, and then eventually, when Wenger left, they sold their shares, and then KSE had complete control, and that is when you started seeing the cash flows into the team,
Okay.
right? That is when the money that was, and that also very nicely coincided with the stadium debt going down year over year, right? So you
Fair.
started seeing those cash flows increasing, and the money being put back into the team. And now you can see that we are, in the last maybe 5 7 8 years, we have been the highest spenders, but maybe,
Yeah.
right? So that money has been going into the club. So I think the key point was that dual ownership will never work. It will never work. Never ever, at least in sporting businesses. In fact, I will be as arrogant enough to say that even in real business terms, it doesn't work well. You have to have one person where everybody goes to, and the person who takes the decisions. So Abhi, I'm not sure what the ownership situation is at Spurs, or why they don't want to spend money. Maybe those reasons are different. So for Arsenal, that was the turning point in my opinion.
Yeah. So
यार इसमें
I
मेरा
would
क्या
straight
कहते हैं
away
पीयूष
now
भाई,
go.
I want to
Please,
add
Bhai,
something
please.
here. The
Yeah.
similarities to both of them. Just
Yeah.
as
Please,
Nathan
Adit.
said कि अपना जब Radcliffe था, so अगर Radcliffe नहीं होता, so the Amorim would not have stayed for so long. I think the same
Yeah.
case वो हमारे साथ भी हुआ, because the reason Frank stayed for so long, because under Louis family he was the first manager, even though Levy signed him, but still Levy got sacked after 2 हफ्ते में he got क्या कहते हैं voted out. So the reason that Frank stayed for so long was because of the family, and they did not want कि भाई हमारा पहला मैनेजर है, and we cannot afford कि पहले ही आते ही स्टार्ट ही हमारा ऐसा बेइज्जती के साथ हुआ. एंड व्हेन दे सैक्ड हिम एंड दे रियलाइज कि आप पानी सर के ऊपर से बहुत ज्यादा आ चुका है. सो दैट इज द थिंग. एंड आपका क्या कहते हैं, जैसे मानस भाई ने बोला अबाउट हाउ दे क्रॉन्कीज दे नेवर टुक आउट मनी फ्रॉम द आर्सेनल क्लब. हमारे में ऐसा क्या है कि व्हाट हैज हैपेंड, whatever we were earning, the club earning, that was reinvested. But the thing is, that also was never reinvested pura completely. And from the ownership, in the 23 or 25 years of जितना भी उन्होंने own किया है, they have only invested their own money in double it. कुछ 25-30 million का ही amount they have invested on their own. So that is the reason क्या कहते हैं, basically they are कंजूस है भाई. क्या कहते हैं, अगर कोई बहुत ही बढ़िया चीज मिल रही है, वी कैन गो फॉर इट. वी हैव अभी भी आज के डेट में वी कैन गो एंड बाय 3 to 4 एम्बापेस एंड विदाउट एनी पीएसआर इश्यूज, विदाउट एनी प्रॉब्लम, फाइनेंशियल इश्यूज. बट दे वोंट डू इट. दे वोंट, बिकॉज हमें दे लाइक हमें पैसा बचाना है. हमें we are
So
not
it
owned.
is
So
down to lack of ambition that these particular owners have. That
yes,
is what you are thinking. So
yes,
I fail to understand. Then a lot of credit must be given to likes of Poch and everybody who with that limited budget scouted players like Dele Alli, Ericsson from Ajax, and so many else, and even
yeah,
Kane for that matter. And we're going to talk about Kane as well, as to what impact he had in that club and why after he left the club is struggling. But so I fail to understand, is it only down to ownership, or there are some other factors, as Ange in that lambastic interview pointed out, and I really want to get into that as well now. So
yeah,
he and there were a lot of things that he said, but one key takeaway that I found it very bizarre is he said he never got a chance to speak to the owners directly, or even Daniel Levy directly. So he said in his
yeah,
tenure he only spoke to Daniel Levy once. So coming from a City perspective, Adit Bhai, I would say our club, even though we are accused of so many things, I think one thing that I understand from my club is like there's an annual getaway of players, the entire club, that we go to, that हम दुबई जाते हैं या शेख के घर पे जाते हैं. I think he greets everybody, and the communication is very very transparent. They telecast that communication on City TV as well, as to what
okay,
people are saying, what Sheikh Mansour is up to, what Khaldun Al Mubarak expects from the club, how Pep is talking to them. And I think that is very different from what Spurs does. Were you surprised to first hear that there was only one conversation between Ange and, let's say, Daniel Levy? And do you think, is it good that managers are not getting to speak directly to, let's say, the chairman or whoever is running the club, your club, by the way,
yeah,
that
यार
is?
I'm not sure कि सिर्फ एक ही बार, मतलब 3-4 बार, that's what I remember, 3-4 बार they must have. But yeah, Levy has always been that guy. He क्या कहते हैं, he always maintains his distance. वो पॉच इतने सालों से करता आया, and the way पॉच was over performing, that is the reason उसका and Levy का बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेक्शन रहता था. but उसके बाद it is a very known fact कि Levy always distance himself. वो आता है सिर्फ जब ट्रांसफर विंडो खुलती है. That is when he gets active. That is when he starts the Levy business. And I was not actually surprised. मुझे यहाँ पे ऐसे ही होता है. It's always about कि भाई minimum effort से maximum output कैसे निकाले. That is why the Poch is considered like हमारा अपना legend, and we want him back at some point of time, because the way he overperformed. उसको limited a budget, limited players, nothing at all. But still, it was always about क्या कहते हैं, punching above the weight class, and that worked. And after Poch, we tried क्या कहते हैं, getting new managers, but वही क्या, आप उनको managers को बस ला के नहीं, you have to service them, you have to give service to them, you have to give the necessary players to them. But हम नहीं करते हैं. And we always क्या कहते हैं, कुछ गलती हुई चलो, कुछ गलती हुई आप निकलो, कुछ गलती हुई निकलो. And that has always been so. Stability कभी भी नहीं आई है. वो Poch का जो 5-6 साल का जो टेन्योर रहा है, दैट उसमें स्टेबिलिटी थी, थिंग्स वर वर्किंग आउट एंड एवरीथिंग वाज गोइंग अकॉर्डिंगली. बट देन लीवी एंड द बोर्ड, क्योंकि आई गो बोर्ड का नहीं, बिकॉज लीवी हैज ऑलवेज बीन द डिसीजन मेकर. तो इनका हमेशा से ही चलता है कि भाई अब हो गया हमारा, वी नीड सडन विक्ट्री. एंड इट्स ऑल्सो अबाउट चेंजिंग मेंटालिटीज एज वेल. वहां मान लो कि पॉच का ये था कि पॉच हैज ऑलवेज अटैक, ही स्टक टू द Spurs DNA, and then suddenly you went to Mourinho, थोड़ा डिफेंसिव अप्रोच. देन सडनली इट्स कॉन्टे, अ डिफरेंट डिफेंसिव अप्रोच. देन नूनो आया. देन यू वेंट टू, अब नहीं भाई, अब हमारा हो चुका है, वी वांट टू गेट बैक टू द डीएनए ऑफ स्पर्स, सो लेट्स गो ऑल आउट अटैक. एंज केम इन. एंज वाज एक्सट्रीम एंड, ठीक है, अटैक का. एंड देन व्हेन एंज गेट्स द सैक अगेन, दे वेंट टू द डिफेंसिव अप्रोच बाय थॉमस फ्रैंक. सो दैट इज द इशू. कभी स्टेबिलिटी आई ही नहीं. एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी आर सफरिंग. तो क्योंकि अब आप कॉन्टे के एक टाइप के प्लेयर्स थे, एंज को एक टाइप के प्लेयर्स मिले, एंज ने दूसरे टाइप के प्लेयर्स से भरे एंड बाकी डेडवुड निकाला. नाउ सडनली वी हैव अटैकर्स, अटैकिंग स्टाइल ऑफ प्ले. बट थॉमस फ्रैंक कांट डू शिट अबाउट अटैक, तो उसके बस की नहीं थी. तो दैट आल्सो डिड
Yeah.
नॉट वर्क आउट. दैट इज द थिंग, स्टेबिलिटी, इनडिसाइसिवनेस. एंड जो एंज का इंटरव्यू था, दैट वाज बैंग ऑन. आई एब्सोल्युटली लव्ड इट. ही मतलब उसने एकदम पैंट खोल दी थी अपना, क्या कहते हैं, स्पर्स बोर्ड की. एंड इट वाज रियली, ये हमें पता था. स्पोर्ट्समैन हैव बीन सेइंग दिस थिंग द वे ऑल द थिंग्स व्हिच ही सेड. अब बस हुआ कि हाँ पब्लिक फिगर में आ चुका, पब्लिक नोट में, क्या कहते हैं, हम दुनिया को पता लगा कि हाँ भाई स्पर्स में एक्चुअल ये दिक्कतें हैं. दैट्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग.
That's a very fair way to look at what is happening around Spurs, and I kind of mostly agree to everything that you're saying, Adit Bhai. But one thing that I am always amazed, and I think I would really want Nathan Bhai to have his say on that. Do they Spurs, all do Spurs always make excuses of them not having the correct manager, or this or that manager not working, or they try to protect their players rather than uh, addressing the real issues? मतलब my whole point is, क्या सिर्फ मैनेजर की वजह से हो रहा है सब कुछ, या आर प्लेयर्स टू बी ऑल्सो ब्लेम? बिकॉज आई पर्सनली फील देयर इज अ वेरी लेस क्रिटिसिज्म as compared to what managers go through in this particular club. Do you also agree, or do you have any other contrary opinion to that?
I mean, I think in general players have way more power than they used to have. I think I don't think, a lot of people have this thing where they think it's United and Chelsea. I actually think across the board players in general have way more power than they've ever had before. And that is because
Yep.
they try to build their individual brands depending on which clubs you're in. They slowly try to build a niche for themselves. And that somehow can overshadow the club depending on the level of player you are eventually. Um,
Yep.
See, I mean, this is gonna. I mean, this is not part of what you asked me, right? But when I was listening to, let's say how they played football, right? And he started at Pochettino, but I mean, I've been watching Spurs play when they had Benoit Asu Ekoto and Kyle Walker at fullback.
Hmm.
And I'll be very honest with you. You have better fullbacks now, but back then they played way better. So it's like the quality of players are better, but Spurs actually used to be much more fun to watch about 18 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is kind of weird because you can't even say lack of quality of players, right? So you were talking about players and manager, right? I'm like, I was thinking, is it the players' fault? But then I was remembering, like, you had like Nico Crankshaw, and now you have Christian Romero, World Cup winner. Uh, I'm actually trying to think. You had like I believe Brad Friedel was in goal. You had Hugo Lloris
Yeah.
a couple of years back. Yeah, I mean,
Most
okay,
capped French player ever.
Vicario is not better
Yeah.
than Lloris. That's a bad example. I apologize. That is not a good example. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you can definitely blame the players, but then at least till Levy was here, the players were always going to have preference because he sees everything as money.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you see everything as money, those people automatically become more important. And let's be honest, wouldn't be the first club that sacked their manager prematurely because they had a problem with players. Wouldn't be the first club.
Yep.
So
Won't be the last
that
either.
wouldn't be the last. I mean, it probably happened before May. Maybe someone else will lose their job before the season's over. But my thing is, like, of course you can blame the manager. But the thing I just saw Banjara's tweet about Frank being the biggest fraudster in the Premier League of all time. I found that really funny. See, I mean, listen, statistically speaking, you can't deny it. But if you just look at that Brentford team he had,
Hmm.
he went through Scandinavia to get talent, which is, let's be honest, none of us would think of doing. We can all sit
Yep.
here and have, get this guy, get that guy, South African. No one is going straight to Scandinavia. Roeslov, Jensen, who, thank God he's back playing. He's one of my favorite players to watch from Brentford. Norgard, what's that? Damsgaard from the Euros. Then from random places like Burkina Faso, he gets Utara, who's obviously played well at Brentford. Then Tony from the Championship. Then before that, in the Championship, they had Morpay and Watkins. I think Bowen came from Hull. It's not like he didn't handle less than ideal players, but I don't know what it is about Spurs. Yeah, at the end of the day, it seems like the stability of Pochettino has just not been replaced. If you say,
Yeah.
is Pochettino a better manager than Mourinho? I mean, you'd have to be really stupid to say yes.
Yep.
You know, it's not even being biased. Is he a better Spurs manager than Mourinho? Sure. Sure. If you want to be specific like that, then definitely. Is he better than Conte? Is he better than whoever else they have replaced? He's probably only Pochettino is probably only better than Frank. I mean,
Yep.
even Nuno left Spurs and took Forest to a European spot.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's also the crazy. Yeah, everyone was dragging Nuno's name through the mud. He takes Forest to a European spot. So I'm not
That's
again. I'm not saying he's probably he was 12 points behind West Ham. He's 4 points behind Nottingham Forest. They've changed two managers. He had no job, and now he's almost caught up with his prior owner. He's
yep.
about to overtake him. He's probably going to send his owner to relegation. He's made that kind of comeback in such
Yeah.
a short period of time. So you can blame the managers, you can blame the players, but clearly there is just no gel. There is no gel. The foundation needs to be ripped, and quite honestly, I think you just need to change owners. I think the owners
Yeah.
have worn out their welcome. I think it's just a negative atmosphere, and it can only be done by changing the owners. Because
That's
even
true.
even if
That's
you
true.
change, I genuinely, if you look back 15 years ago, no, I'll do it while you ask someone else a question, and then I'll share the screen to you. If you can tell me any of, let's say, 12 years ago players were better than the players they currently have, no, you'll be hard pressed to find them. But still, with better players, they're not doing well. So you have to put it on the players. But as long as you see them as assets, they will never ever be held responsible. They will never ever be held responsible. It'll always be the manager that gets sacked.
That is one of
Then
the
it,
best
it's easier
explanations.
to
Yeah,
sack the
please, please.
manager as well. Na? It
Yeah,
is
It's
easier
that's
to
one
sack the
person. It's
manager.
one person, not 15 people. You
yeah.
can
Exactly, and
sell
That
them
also
that
the financials behind sacking a manager is
FFP. If
always
exactly,
easier
yeah.
because players,
Exactly.
everybody, तो अगर you have good players, there बाकी सब clubs को तुम्हारे players चाहिए. Everybody would want a Romero, everybody would want a Van de Ven. So क्या कहते हैं, they have much higher value even if they are not performing or doing what they're supposed to do. You cannot just get rid of them. Manager is the most easiest person to get, and he is the face of the club because owners will never come forward. Whatever जो भी होता है मैनेजर को ही सुनना है, मैनेजर को ही रिप्लाई देना है. इट्स ऑलवेज गोना बी द मैनेजर. एंड ऑल्सो क्या कहते हैं इसमें आई वुड ऑल्सो लाइक दैट कि वाई जो माइंडसेट है, जो मेंटालिटी इन द स्पर्स, that I also stemmed down from the owners as well because क्या कहते हैं लीवी, this is the incident Hugo Lloris mentioned when they went to the Champions League final against Liverpool. Before the match क्या कहते हैं लीवी gave every entire squad बढ़िया रोलेक्स का वॉच दिया एंड उसमें उसने लिखा congratulations for making it to the semi-final or congratulations for to making it to the final.
is it.
Nothing else. That's
Did he do that?
yes, he did. It was engraved on the watches for entire club, entire squad, and all the players like,
That is
bro, ये क्या है? ये बस इतना ही. That's what I explained. And Levy and Ange also mentioned क्या कहता है on the Europa final day. Levy told him, I have been to क्या कहते हैं 6 to 7 semi-finals, finals, and we have never won. तो ऐसा और वो हाल था. We have never won. ऐसा he is happy कि हम भाई final तक we have reached. अब जीतो ना जीतो, it's not an issue. So it is, and from the if the owners are like this, they are not bothered. They are not pushing the players. They are not pushing the manager. They are just blaming it. कि भाई तूने ये क्यों नहीं की, ये क्यों नहीं की, ये क्यों नहीं. They are not taking the ownership on them कि भाई हमें इस मैनेजर को कुछ देना पड़ेगा, हमें ऐसे ऐसे प्लेयर्स को देना पड़ेगा. And they are just chill भाई, अपना पैसा आ रहा है, लंदन में बैठे हैं, बढ़िया सिटी, क्या कहते हैं, अच्छा पानी खर्चा पानी चल रहा है उनका. तो it's a steady ship. But for now, like last year we finished 17th, this year almost on the verge of getting relegated. तो इन सब चक्करों के चक्कर में दया थोड़ा और कम है, क्या नहीं, वी नीड टू डू दिस, वी नीड टू डू दैट. So that is the problem, and ownership, we need to change ownership. Protest happens, but उस protest का कुछ होता है नहीं. So पता नहीं
I
कब
mean,
होगा भाई.
क्या ही कर. I think you are as powerless as anybody in terms of getting the owners out of the club, because I think that is not happening anytime soon. But I would take this moment and just say to everybody who's in the chat, yeah, there are 18, 19 people watching. Please, please, please. It's a humble request. कुछ भी करने के पहले please go and check out all the guest members channel. It is tagged in the title as well. Sportsnet Nathan Bhai. Everybody knows Nathan Bhai. If you haven't, but I don't know where you are. On Side Banjara, Adhit Bhai. I think the most famous Spurs fan in India, also one of the most candid fans. And I think you must have, अगर आप लोग ये सुन रहे हो तो आपको पता चल गया होगा कि why I'm calling him as candid as it gets. But very very special और humble request मेरी ये कि आप लोग सब पहले पॉट शॉट को जाकर जरूर सुने. आई थिंक मानस भाई का ऑडियो पॉडकास्ट आता है. इट्स इन स्पॉटिफाई. आई पुट द डिस्क्रिप्शन में उनका लिंक डाल दिया है. इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एंगेजिंग थिंग दैट यू कैन हियर. वो उनका यूट्यूब चैनल नहीं है, बट ही इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सेन पर्सन दैट देयर इज. और वो सिर्फ आर्सेनल नहीं, बाकी क्लब्स के बारे में बहुत अच्छी बातें बोलते हैं और बड़ी सेंसिबल टेक लेते हैं. तो प्लीज मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि यहाँ मेरे जितने लोग देख रहे हैं वो मेरी बिहाफ में इतना जरूर कर दें. जस्ट गो अहेड एंड जस्ट सब्सक्राइब टू एवरीबडी. फॉलो मानस भाई एंड एवरीबडी. ऑल्सो फॉलो देम ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. उनके सबके हैंडल मैं डाल दूंगा बाद में, और नहीं डाल रहा हूँ तो वॉटमैन है, ऑन साइड बंजारा एंड स्पोर्ट्स एंड नेतन तो है नहीं शायद, पता नहीं मैंने किसको टैग किया इंस्टाग्राम पे. आई डोंट नो, मे बी इट्स ध्रुव और समवन हु हैज मेड अ फेक आईडी. सो आई डोंट नो हु इट इज. So, but it's not Nathan Bhai, but Nathan Bhai is here. He's in Twitter, so you can go there and check out him as well there. But moving on to the discussion.
Actually,
swiftly,
wait, hold on.
I think-
Before you
yeah.
move on, I just wanted, like I told you, I'd find the squad. Just hear some of these names. Now, keep in mind today's squad, okay? So we got Hugo Lloris, obviously. Aurelio Gomes, who went to Watford afterwards. Brad Friedel, who was 43 years old. Another goalkeeper named Jordan Archer, who was 21. Okay, those are the goalkeepers. Jan Vertonghen, good player. Yunus Kabul, all right in his day.
Okay.
Michael Dawson, Milos Velikovic, Danny Rose, Zeki Friars, Connor Ogilvie, Kyle Walker, Kyle Norton, Ryan Fredericks, Etienne Capoue, Nabil Bentaleb, Musa Dembele, Paulinho, Sandro. Anybody else we can recognize here? Harry Winks, Christian Eriksen, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Nasser Chadli, Eric Lamela, Aaron Lennon, Andros Townsend, Roberto Soldado, Emmanuel Adebayor, of course, the great Jermaine Defoe, and Harry Kane. So now, some of these players obviously are still playing. Some of these players are still, in fact, very good. Harry Kane, of course, in case anyone was wondering. Some of these players are probably long gone and retired. This team played better than the team you see before you.
Yeah.
And half of these players couldn't even get into the England squad. You have World Cup winners. You have African
Yeah.
champions. This team played better football than this team. Bro, I don't even remember who the hell Ogilvie is. I actually don't remember half of these players myself. I'm here thinking I'm going to know everybody. I also don't know half of them. Like, but this is what I'm saying, right? You can say Thomas Frank is the biggest fraudster, but even the Brentford team was worse than this team, and they did better.
यार उसके लिए I have an argument, ठीक है, for Brentford. So I the way Brentford performed, I think it's because of their owner. I forgot his name, but he's a very stat driven guy. He's like
Yeah.
proper probability and
No youth
mathematics,
academy, no youth
The money
academy.
ball,
academy,
right?
nothing.
The
So yes,
money ball,
exactly the
right?
money ball approach. So I was reading about it and उसका हमेशा सिंपल रहा कि भाई मेरे को ऐसे ऐसे खिलाना है, इन जोन्स में बॉल आएगी, यहाँ पे शॉट लेना है, यहाँ पे अगर सेट पीस आएगा तो यहाँ से ऐसे करना है. And that's the only thing he wanted from his club. And he hired Frank. Frank, I think he came in there from ऐसा उनके सेटअप से आया
Got
and
promoted. Yeah.
got promoted as well. तो Frank stuck to his philosophy कि भाई ऐसे ऐसे करना है, and he tried to do the same here. But यहाँ पे ऐसी चीजें, you can afford to lose few games, not have a good match.
can't do it for
क्या
Spurs.
कहते हैं, you can, but you cannot do such things. In Spurs, एक तो the pressure is way above क्या कहते हैं Brentford से, and you cannot be a पूरा data driven statistic. There needs to be flair. There needs to be a certain type of play. You need to have the upper hand. You cannot be the one कि हम opposition के हिसाब से will be gonna set up the team. Opposition is supposed to set up their team according to us. That's how it's supposed to be. But Frank ने बोला कि ना मेरे को तो बस
No,
अपना
I agree. I agree, right? That's why I'm saying I'm not even saying you're wrong. But like
Yeah.
the players cannot get a pass. I just named you these players. Outside
Yeah.
of Jermaine Defoe, Harry Kane, and Jan Vertonghen, and that time Hugo Lloris was 27. Of course, his prime was much later. But even if you want to add Hugo Lloris, that's 4 players. That's
Yeah.
4 players that
I
could
totally I
get
agree
into
with you. I
everybody's
agree
team.
with you.
Bro, these
Those
players,
teams were
bro, I
much
don't know
better.
what they're doing. Bro, I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Kyle Walker, Aaron Lennon on the right hand flank was crazy. And I told you this, Piyush. I told you, Kyle Walker used to cross like a monster. Pep came and
Yeah.
destroyed him. Pep
He did.
destroyed
He
him.
did.
I'm telling people Pep destroy Kyle Walker's a good defender. I'm like, you people don't know what y'all are talking about. Go back in time and watch them both fizz in balls from the right hand side. It was crazy. And
him
he
and
came to
Rose,
City.
bhai. People
So,
glaze so much about
People forget about.
what Trent and Robertson did for various reasons. I agree they were special, but I
yeah,
think Rose and Walker together were as special that time. I think both of them bombarded and both of them tracked back so beautifully that it was almost
yeah,
impossible to attack Tottenham from the flanks. That is what I remember of Tottenham back in the day. But quickly on that note, and I just quickly digressing from that
yeah, of
discussion and
course.
bringing it to some other point that I feel is very important to discuss, and I think we have touched upon it as in whether the managers are the problem, chopping, changing is one of the issues, and everything. And I would really want to have Manas Bhai's perspective on this because I think you along with City are the only remaining team in the Premier League who have trusted their manager for a very lengthy time. We have given our managers enough time to succeed. We have given them all the financial backings that we can. We have not City but Arsenal have survived a lot of troll, a lot of hate, and they still believed in what Arteta wanted to do, and they are right now in a position where they're competing in four trophies, and I think it's fair to say that they're going to win at least two of them. So my whole point is, do you also feel that is the right approach for every club, or do you think there are certain clubs which cannot do it? Are the situation very limited to certain clubs, or do you think that is the only approach that if a club is struggling should take?
No, I don't think there is a specific approach. There is no winning model, as I would say, right? That you do this or X or Y. With Arteta, the thing was that there was history. He was at the club. He was bought in a difficult moment. He captained the team, and then he also had a story to tell when he came, right? Like there is a
Yep.
story. Like he went to study with Pep, and then he comes, and then he tells a story that we have to do the process, and we have to change the mentality. We have to change everything, discipline. He kicked out players like Ozil, Aubameyang. Do you think it's easy dealing with somebody like Ozil? Like let's leave football. Geopolitically, he's such a big figure. Like to
Yeah.
do something like this, and then like because somebody came in and said, the main purpose of this business is football. We are going to do football. The process has to be right. And then so he was able to sell that, that story, that vision to the owners, and then they believed him, and then they gave him the money to do this. But
Yep.
not necessarily. I'm not going to say Emery is a bad manager, right? But he came in and
Yep.
he was not able to do,
Yep.
because he was trying to play in a manner that is probably not suited to us. And then he was also not able to get the players to do what he wanted, right? So I wouldn't say so. It's not about. We've had a lot of discussion on whether the manager is bad, players are bad. Everybody has to take the blame. Unfortunately, it's always going to go to the manager because आप 11 लोगों को तो नहीं निकाल सकते, right?
Fair.
So that's just very basic stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the manager who's going to go. But you have to find somebody who is the club in a certain way. If you can, it's very rare. You probably will not be able to find somebody like this. So are we going to sit here and say Amorim is a bad manager? No.
No.
But he was probably in the wrong moment at United, right? But now Carrick has come. Same players are playing better.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like maybe we won't see Carrick next season, but you know what I mean, right? So, so you have to start thinking about Spurs in a way. If you look back 20 years, right? In the last 10 years, the average league position has been sixth. If you go back 10 more years, the average league position has been sixth. It is
That's
sixth
beautiful.
average. The
That is
best
beautiful, by the way.
the best period Spurs had was the Pochettino era, which is 16 to
Yeah.
18, 3 seasons, and they did third, second, third, and they didn't push on. So if Daniel Levy doesn't know how to run, he's the chairman of the board. He's the chairman of the board, right?
No, he
So
left. Nah, he
No,
left.
he's gone.
CEO.
He's
left,
gone.
right.
He's gone.
So the owners, if see, you're good business owners, right? But you maybe don't know how to run. So what do you do when you don't know to do something? You hire somebody. You put somebody who knows the business of football as the director of football. Get somebody who
Bhai,
understands this.
Manas bhai, isme I would, we have a guy. You know who is the current CEO of Spurs?
Vinay.
It's Vinay Venkatesham.
Nahin. So this guy
How is
comes
that
from
guy?
Arsenal, like he's the marketing guy at Arsenal, and then he gets hired at Spurs and he's the CEO. Fine, let him be the CEO, right? CEO doesn't need
Hmm.
to do the football thinking. You
Hmm.
hire a DOF. I'm not saying Bhai Vinay is a very educated person. He's very capable. He has the pedigree to run a
I
business
love
like
how he's
football.
trying not to laugh at this the double agent that is your CEO. I love how he's
I'm the
trying not
coach
to
of a
laugh
double
while he
agent.
Well,
says
man,
this.
we already had one. Prank
but
was
but
already
but
one. अब तो यार विनय
but
भी निकल गया,
on
दिक्कत है
on
भाई.
it's a very interesting take, Manas bhai, and I personally would really want to understand and know, and I really want to be educated on this particular fact. I think most of the chats would also be. So what does the director of football does, which is different to let's say a CEO or a COO? So what are the
अरे,
like responsibilities
simple,
of director of football, and how
simple,
is CEO different?
simple. आपका घर है, your house. Your wife is the CEO of your house. She takes the big decisions, like, right? What we will put in the house, how much we will spend. But she will not take the decision, right? Wi-Fi router कौन सा लगाना? Maybe you're better at doing that. You get somebody who's footballing when you give the operations to them. You'd say,
Okay.
here is the money, this is your budget. अगर हम 300 million pounds in cash flow we do in a year, you will get 150, rest will go elsewhere. Vinay will sit, he will say, Bhai, next season we need to do a new turf. He will take that decision. We need to renew the seats, he will take that decision. Director of football will not take that decision. Let him build the squad. Let him also be a part of the team which identifies who is the right manager to handle these players. And then you tell this manager, Bhai, you have 5 years. If you hit a certain threshold of performance and league finishes, we will give you 5 years, but I want the Premier League at the end of the 50. Simple. This is how you, this is the start. If you go and say this to somebody, they will come with a process, not कि मुझे कल जीतना है. But obviously this is impossible to do in football. You have to have a high level of courage, but I think Spurs are in a position to do this. They are literally sitting at the point of pushing the big four.
Yeah.
They are, we were talking about the highest cash flows, highest, one of the highest revenues, one of the highest non-commercial revenues in football because of the new stadium. कहाँ
Yeah.
करोगे, क्या करोगे पैसे का, मर जाओगे लेके. But the biggest factor for winning football in the last 20 years, the biggest correlated metric is wages. And Spurs are very low
Yeah.
in that.
That's one nerve that you put, and I think that was my
They,
next part where I wanted to get the segue. And it's beautiful segue to get into, and I'm straight away going to Banjara Bhai for this. I think
Hmm.
he in his interview also mentioned that very aspect where he was talking about how the other clubs who are competing for, let's say, titles and top four's ambition,
Yeah.
players, and how the wages are very different from, let's say, a Spurs to a City or a Spurs or an Arsenal Spurs. So let's say if and just we I just for example and hypothetical sake, I am not sure if that is what happened, but just for the sake of argument, Eze uh,
Hmm.
was in the market. I think Spurs went for him, Arsenal went for him,
Yeah.
and let's hypothetically say he didn't choose Spurs because he knew Arsenal would pay him fairly or even more than what Spurs could offer. And I think this is what the point Ange was telling ki there were so many people that he wanted in that Spurs setup, but they could not have because of the Spurs because of the wages limitation. So do you think that is also one of the hindrance apart from all the hindrance that we are talking about? And how do you see this being corrected going forward?
No, and it is a complete fact. क्या कहते हैं? We do not give wages. I remember Pedro Neto before going to Chelsea, he had agreed. क्या कहते हैं? Wolves had agreed that we are selling to Spurs, but we could not offer. मतलब the board, the club did not offer enough wages to Pedro Neto, and Chelsea offered, so he went to Chelsea. That has been going on for way too long. यार देखो, आज के डेट में फुटबॉल प्लेयर क्या देखता है कि भाई मैं इस क्लब में जाऊंगा कि यहाँ पे मैं जीत सकता हूँ, ट्रॉफी जीत सकता हूँ. तो सिटी जैसा यही कमान लो, उसको बोला कि भाई लिवरपूल का नहीं हुआ, सिटी चला जाता हूँ, एटलीस्ट मैं जीत तो जाऊंगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो जीतूंगा, इस साल नहीं अगले साल नहीं, कभी तो कुछ जीतूंगा. एंड अगर वो भी नहीं हुआ, पैसा तो भर भर के मिलेगा. एंड ऑफ द डे क्या कहते, ऑल ऑफ देम आर एम्प्लॉयज एंड लाइक एवरी वन ऑफ अस वी वांट मनी इन आवर अकाउंट. तो जो अभी है हम एम्प्लॉयज क्या कहते हैं, कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉयज, ओके वी क्या कहते हैं कीप ऑन बाउंसिंग. तो फुटबॉल प्लेयर्स आल्सो सेम, दे गेट टू प्ले, दे गेट टू लिव गुड लाइफ, दे गेट द मनी. तो अगर वो भी ऑफर नहीं करेगा, सो व्हाट इज अट्रैक्टिव अबाउट स्पर्स राइट नाउ? देयर इज, it is nothing. Because it is not surety ki bhai we are going to win something. एंड अगर वो नहीं है तो भाई तुम उनको पैसा दो, पैसा भी नहीं देना है. सो दैट हैज ऑलवेज बिन द प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज इफ आई रिमेंबर करेक्टली in the Premier League we are 18th or 17th in terms of wages to revenue ratio, and Villa being क्या कहते हैं highest around 85 कुछ परसेंट है उनका, हमारा under 40 है. So that is a massive problem. You need to have big players. आज की डेट में the highest paid हमारा Romero is the one, and Xavi is the one. I think Madison and Kulusevski. So and इसमें वो तो चलो छोड़ दोगे कि इंजर्ड है, अपना रोमेरो एंड शावी, both of them get earn 200k. Brother Son, who is a legend, he never crossed the threshold of 200. So just imagine कि we never pay the players. We never pay the players. So why would anybody want to come here?
One of the best players of the last this like modern Premier League era, by. But
Yeah.
ठीक है, मतलब they don't pay, but you have to somewhere like you have to pick a lane. If you don't want to pay, then you hire somebody who's gonna overperform, and then maybe somebody like say Poch finishes second, and then you like sort of start building from there.
Yeah.
But or
But
you
they
pick
had that. I think Manas bhai, what I would say, they had that opportunity. So I think they took that bold decision once they thought that now Pep now they have to remove Poch, and I think they took a bold move in terms of hiring one of the best managers in terms of winning record, that was Mourinho. And I think he was also not back, and I think that has been the theme throughout. Every manager has spoken bad about how that club has been run, be it Conte, be it Mourinho, be it, I think Nuno. I have not heard anything that Nuno has said, but again, again, Poch, even Poch didn't deny that there were so many restrictions whilst he was coaching. And again, in the long list now we have Ange as well, who has almost exposed as to what goes around that club.
Yeah.
But my question to you, Nathan, bhai, now stemming from that fact, now that we have realized that they have somewhat chosen that they're not going to spend on wages and all, why can't they then invest on, let's say, academy products? So let's just take a case of Barcelona, but Barcelona is an extreme case because they have been producing magicians since very long. Let's just say City. So City, even though we have spent so much money, there are still a lot of young players who come directly from our academy who are at that level, let's say. And then we are in a position going into a league where we don't have a right back. Our left back has been injured in the second or third game of the season, and we can straight away draft two young kids who have not played the Premier League that way, in terms of Rico Lewis and then Nico O'Reilly as well, and there are few others as well. I can go on with the list as well, and there's so many. But my whole point is, if you have decided, I mean the Spurs board has decided that they're not going to invest in like flashy players and that is not their route of success, then why not invest in youth products or youth system as well? Because I personally feel Spurs have been massive let down in terms of their. I don't know who comes from their academy personally, because I try to follow youth football as well as much as I can. I have never seen Spurs making sounds there. So United still is relevant. So is Arsenal, City, of course, Chelsea again. Even though we accuse Chelsea of so many bad things, I think they at one point of time had so many youth players who were performing so many. I think this is one anomaly as well, which can be equated to Spurs as well. Your thoughts? Should they be investing on youth? Or do you also feel what Manas Bhai is suggesting, that if you're not spending, then you have to hire someone who can get the best out of the players that you have, also the manager? So what are your thoughts on that, Nathan Bhai?
So before we get into it, currently Tottenham Hotspur is under 18 team is in their group is third behind Chelsea and Crystal Palace. That's under 18 Premier League. See, the youth thing is an interesting aspect, right? We were talking about Brentford and how they don't have one and they have managed so much success. I think when it comes to youth academy, it has to be ingrained in you. It cannot be a strategy that produces immediate results. And much like was said earlier, Spurs require immediate results to some extent. So the youth academy lane, unfortunately, is not going to be viable. Also, to answer your question of when's the last academy talent, I don't know, is Archie Gray from the academy? Archie Gray?
Yeah, I think so.
The last
Bloody hell, it's Harry Kane, isn't it?
It is Harry
Who
Kane.
is it?
Harry Kane
Harry
is the
Kane
only
only.
one. Harry Kane, Harry Winks. These two are the only ones who made
Harry
a name for
Winks.
them. Well, Winks ka to, you know.
So
I think
thing is,
Mason
like,
as well. who
रायन
got
मेसन
unfortunately.
मतलब
Ryan Mason.
वो तो ठीक है.
So, like, we have had a youth academy player since the 1930s in our squad. This is, I mean, not to sound like a record, but this is heritage. We really believe in the youth academy that way. Like, we have staked our name on it. We have won our first European Cup on the backs of that. So I think it is an investment that I just don't think the Spurs owners are interested in making, because it is indeed a long term one. This Chelsea Youth Academy you speak of, where was theirs in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s? They have taken 20 years to build it. Even now, what people say, the shady business, they are letting go of 10 and buying 10. To some extent, all of them aren't under 18 Chelsea players either. They have come
Yeah,
from somewhere else and then they have been embedded into the under 18s.
that's true.
So
That's true.
So my thing is, you can do it, but if we are going to talk about 26, 27 season with a new manager, this has no discussion. They have absolutely no one who can do anything for them. If
या
you're if you're
इसमें ना क्या
third
कहते
place, say
हैं.
in a group
Continue.
stage, in the group, in a particular division, if you're third place in a particular division of the under 18s, you can't come to the Premier League in 5 months time and do some damage. It's not possible.
यार इसमें ना आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड क्या कहते हैं, दिस हैज बीन मतलब हमेशा से एक कंप्लेंट रही है स्पर्स फैन दैट वेयर व्हाई आर वी नॉट सीइंग एकेडमी प्लेयर्स. वो हाउ ओके इसमें नेथन अभी यू सेड थर्ड, सो लास्ट ईयर अंडर 21, अंडर 20, अंडर 18 मतलब जो जितने प्रीमियर लीग के जितने भी नीचे के 3-4 डिविजन है, स्पर्स की एकेडमी वन एवरीथिंग. दे वर द कंप्लीट विनर्स लास्ट ईयर और लास्ट ईयर ऐसा कुछ. तो देयर आर गुड प्लेयर्स, देयर आर वेरी हाईली रेटेड प्लेयर्स. But what the club does, they send them out on loans and then they try to sell them off. That they are not interested to integrate them. अभी we tried क्या कहते हैं, you Mikey Moore है, there is Dorrington, Donnelly, ये वो, there are lot of players, but nobody is able to make it to the first team because the squad planning has been shit. So आज की डेट में चैंपियंस लीग में जो A team होती है 25 players can be added. Spurs is only playing with 22. Why? Because we do not have homegrown players in our team right now. That's why we are not able to. So entire squad planning has been this way. क्या कहते हैं, they are not planning for the future. They are like quick plug कि अभी अच्छा ये खराब हो गया, इसको डाल दो, किसको ये खराब हो गया, ये ठीक कर दो. So I really think we need to add more academy players because there are really good players. They need to be into first team because जब ऐसी injuries होती है, youth academy is supposed to fill that gap. You cannot go out and keep on buying mediocre players.
No.
You have good players. Anyhow तुम क्या कहते हैं, बड़े अच्छा आदमी लोगों को नहीं ले रहे हो, तुम बच्चे ले रहे हो, बर्गवाल, ग्रे, वुस्कोविच, ये सब क्या कहते हैं, these are 18-19 year old kids. You already have them in your, why do you want to pay another club and just use them? इससे तुम्हारा homegrown का कोटा भी पूरा हो रहा है. These players are also have something to look forward to. And funny thing, हमारा जैसे अभी चैट में अपना स्पर्स विद आरडी मेंशन अबाउट लूकस विलियम बार्नेट. ब्रदर, द मोमेंट फ्रैंक गॉट सैक्ड, ही वाज द फर्स्ट एकेडमी प्लेयर टू कीप ऑन लाइकिंग फ्रैंक गॉट सैक्ड. प्लेयर्स वर हैप्पी कि भाई हमें मौका नहीं मिलता. प्लेयर्स वांट टू प्ले इन द फर्स्ट टीम बट दे आर नॉट एबल टू प्ले. उनको कहीं मौका ही नहीं देता. दिस इज अ वेरी सीरियस कंसर्न मैन.
Yeah, Manas
I
bhai,
see
you had to say
if,
something.
if the academy is already there and there is a pipeline, then it should be integrated. Like there should be a clause or something
Yeah.
like कि आपको academy player तो खिलाना ही है. वो legacy
हाँ.
and you have to take that. Whatever they do, they score an own goal, they cause you points. You have to take that on your chin and you have
Yeah.
to.
But Manas, you know why they won't do that? They won't do that, right? Because it's a get out of jail free card for the manager. Think about the injury riddled Spurs squad at the moment. Let's say they replaced 5 of their players. God forbid, knock on wood, nobody wants anyone to get injured. But just let's say they had 6 injuries, or like 3 years ago we had 68 injuries in the whole season and we finished 8 with an FA Cup. Let's say they had a similar season. If they put 5 of their under 21, currently their under 21 Premier League 2 Tottenham under 21s are 8th right now. Let's say they took some from there. Let's say they took 5 players in there and they had to play them for, let's say, 2 months because of injuries. If they don't get good results, you can't even say anything to the manager. The manager will say, you put in the clause, my first team got injured, I played your youth, we didn't get
That's
results,
still
you
true,
can't
no.
blame.
So basically, Nathan, by you, what you are
I'm trying-
implying, so what you are
they will
implying is
skip-
they are systematically putting the club in a situation where they don't want that club to succeed. Is that what you're implying? Because what you're saying is you
I
they
think they don't have the patience for the youth system approach, because they definitely could have invested in getting under 16s, under 14s better integrated into the squad, and therefore in a span of 5 to 10 years have good first team players going straight up.
yeah,
In
and that is
Harry
why
Kane,
it makes no sense.
Adit, how many loans did Harry Kane go on? If you don't mind me, he went on a few, didn't he? He went
Millwall,
Norwich,
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 Leicester.
Norwich.
Four
Leicester,
teams. Four
He
teams.
went on.
Norwich,
He went
Leicester,
on
Millwall,
before Harry
and
Kane
one
was
more.
Harry Kane. He
Yeah,
went
एक
on
और था.
4 separate loan spells. So that is a whole nother time period. Plus, to invest in them from a much younger age, you're talking about 5, 6 years of God knows where they are going to be in the league. It's a gamble they are clearly not willing to take. Should they take it? Of course. But if it doesn't work out, then everyone will say they've tried everything, even this failed. So it's like a lose lose in a kind of way, you know?
Yeah, but ultimately the manager is anyway going to get blamed. Whatever you do, like
Yeah.
whatever
Manager's
strategy
going to
you
get
take,
sacked
they
no matter
will
what.
get blamed, right?
Manager's going
And
to get
obviously,
sacked no matter what.
like you said, but if you're going to, if you're so there has to be some thought. It's like somebody has to sit down with pen and paper and a whiteboard,
And
whatever,
that is why
like to
this
decide
stream
what
was
direction to take.
exactly,
I
and that
don't
is
know
why this
what
stream is
causes.
so fair, and this is why Manas bhai, I really want to get people who understand football really well, and this is not to take a Mickey. For anybody who's listening would have now understood what I wanted to do with the stream, because if you're a student of the game, if you try to analyze the game, Spurs is one critical case which you would never understand it. So what is that one thing that you can point out and then try to solve it? Because there are so many things that a logical person should be doing if he's a Spurs, let's say, owner, but he fails to do anything, and that is the bottom line of it. And I think Manas bhai with his frustration, Nathan bhai with his frustration, and Banjara bhai has been suffering for so long. We all kind of don't understand as to what is the real issue here. So that is why I really wanted to have this stream कि हम कुछ एक conclusion में आ जाते हैं in order to understand as to how this, and again credit, a lot of credit has to be given to this particular club as well. As Manas bhai pointed out, ki in 20 years their average position has been 6. So they have justified the tag of being top 6 team, which is very fair on them. After having so many problems from the inside, they're still very consistent. So they are competing with likes of Man City, Arsenal, United, and everybody
Yeah.
was spending left, right, and center. And still, this team, after even when let's say likes of Aston Villa, likes of who else is there, Everton, and there's so many big teams who can spend so much. I think I was reading a article where I heard Forest spend around 200 million in, like, let's say one
Bro,
and a half
crazy
window.
spend. They have spent
So
crazy
when you
money.
are competing with likes of these team and you're still consistently getting into those positions, then you have to give a lot of credit to this team as well. So it's a very, very paradoxical thing to analyze as to what the real issues are. But at the same time, I personally really appreciate that they have still been very consistent. Of course, they can be a bit better. As Manas bhai once said in one of those lines, that they are on the verge of pushing the top 4 to the brink. And if they run properly, he can even take out one of the top 4s. So and on that note, first of all, I really want to take one more moment. It's been 1 hour, and I think most of the people have been very patient with the thing as well. मैं बस दो चीजें बोलूंगा. I am not taking the chats because डिस्प्ले में मानस भाई और नितिन भाई का चेहरा छुप जाएगा. I don't want that.
No,
So
no, please,
please bear.
yeah, please. If
No,
they
no.
have questions, let them answer. Please, it
Of
makes no
course,
difference.
if anybody has any
अरे वो
questions
भी तो
related to
होता है,
that, please.
चैट लो तो विंडो ऊपर हो जाती है, ऐसा भी तो कोई सिस्टम होता है.
I don't know, bhai.
Yeah,
It doesn't work with
that is
me.
on
मतलब
the
पता नहीं.
paid one, I think.
So maybe so I'm so sorry. What I can do is as once our segment is finished, I'll bookmark every question that is there, and then if any of the guests wants to answer, they can answer. If they leave, I'll answer. Don't worry. So please bear with me on that. But please, before that, it's a humble request. 17-18 people are watching. Please, yeah. Just take one moment. Go subscribe to On Side Banjara, subscribe to Sports with Nathan, and of course check out पॉट शॉट बाय मानस भाई. उनका भी डिस्क्रिप्शन में है, बिकॉज वो टाइटल में नहीं आ पाया तो डिस्क्रिप्शन में है. प्लीज मेरी तरफ से इतना कर दीजिए, एंड इट्स जस्ट अ हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम मी, and so that everybody is happy, and you should all support everybody. Yeah. We are giving such a nice content to everybody, and I think chat, thank you so much for being so respectful till now, and long may it continue. But before moving on, I think one of the
Just
segues.
sorry, Piyush,
Yeah,
I
please.
just sorry about this, but
Yeah.
you know what is so sad about Adit said is they don't have enough homegrown players, right? I just wanted to have a look because I mentioned the Premier League too. Literally everybody from the under 21 squad is either English, 95% is English, 5% is Scottish and Irish. There's two Scottish and one Irish player in there. All would have been
Hmm.
considered homegrown, by the way, and they
Yeah.
can't add to their Champions League squad. There are 21-year-olds, literal 22-year-olds playing in the Premier League Division 2, and nobody is getting a chance. With
Yeah.
squad space included, they are not getting a chance. They're all English, bro. I mean, if you want me to share, I can share it. I mean, I don't know any of their names, but they all their flags are here, so I can see they're all English.
Yeah.
All English.
That's the
One of
problem.
But
the
that is
easiest ways to get fans on board, yeah. Like,
No, no. But I'm
and it's
just
even
saying
a
they
good
can.
strategy for a manager to like, कि भाई
I
चार
know.
बच्चे
It's
खिला दो.
just
Fans will
it's
come
really
on board.
sad.
Results will
It's
start.
sad,
Like
yeah.
mood
Yeah.
changes.
Really sad.
I mean, Ange tried to do that, but you all know what happened to him.
And so I like उसका football ही मेरे को समझ like I don't understand his tactics.
that's a very interesting thing that because I really want to elaborate on that, even though that was not the part of discussion, but that's quite an unpopular opinion, Manas Ban. I really want you to take the stage and elaborate as to why you think you don't
Extremely
understand.
like I if I so I always like think कि, you know, like if a manager goes in the Premier League and you're like the Uniteds and the Chelseas and like risk taking is something that is very in premium these days. Like nobody wants to do it because you get punished like crazy. And this guy is inverting both center backs, full backs invert. मेरे को I don't understand. मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि how is it going to manage or like build a sustainable way of scaling this approach, I would say. But yeah, like he had players who were like physical beasts like Sar and all. Like you can play like this if you are really if you get players on board and like you sell the vision to the players. Maybe कर सकते हो, but it's, it's crazy. Like पता नहीं मेरे को तो समझ नहीं आया. I don't understand.
So Adit bhai, I would straight away ask you, matlab, do you agree with him, or did you fancy what Ange did? Let's just hypothetically say he was not injury affected. Would you, as a Spurs fan, would have wanted to continue with Ange, or do you also feel that it was enough? Yeah, it was too risky to
भाई
play with
भाई
Ange football.
भाई देखो, मैं ना वेस्ट दिल्ली से हूँ। यहाँ पे एक ही सिंपल लॉजिक चलता है, या तो मरो या मारो, नथिंग इन बिटवीन। आई वाज
Yeah,
ऑल इन।
card.
पूरा अपना वेस्ट दिल्ली वाला स्वैग चलता है भाई। तो मैं को तो आई एब्सोल्युटली लव दैट गाय, एंड आई गेट इट। क्या कहते हैं, इट वाज वे टू एक्सट्रीम। थोड़ा सा टोन डाउन करना चाहिए था, द वे ही डिड इन यूरोपा का फाइनल। वो तो एकदम कंप्लीट टोन डाउन कर दिया था। बट आई रियली वांटेड टू सी अ सीजन 3 ऑफ एंज बॉल, एंड बिकॉज आई really believe कि क्या कहते हैं, so what everybody says ना कि he was extreme on the attack, but that was not the case. There were moments, there were in the क्या कहते हैं season where he did make the changes. There were defensive approaches as well, but because हमारे पास भाई एक टाइम पे there were only eight players above 18, only 8 players available, and injuries की वजह से we suffered the way we did. तो how is a man supposed to क्या कहते हैं get a result out of such team? तो भाई मैं तो अगर चाहता कि भाई वापस आ जाते तो आ जाते, बट आई थिंक दैट बोट हैज सेल्ड, एंड या मैन मैं तो एंड ऑल
तो
इन
उसने पब्लिक में
एब्सोल्युटली।
बोल दिया, so it can't happen.
अब
Yeah,
तो नहीं हो
Nathan bhai,
पाया, अब
your
तो
thought, your
First,
thought on
Adi
on
told me to
Ange ball.
share the screen, so I've just shared it here if anyone wants to see. It's on SofaScore, guys. You all can definitely click it if you all want. But if you all want to see, I have shared it here on the screen.
Just
Ish
one.
wants to put it up. Yeah, no problem. My thoughts are, see, this is the Spurs I remember. I just went full nostalgia merchant about half an hour ago. This is the Spurs I remember, but at the same time, I think I wouldn't even use the word balance, but some kind of tactical defensive astuteness would have been great, because I think it would add to the fact that their attacking prowess would be even more emphasized, right? So if you're just solid or average at the back, but you're devastating up front, the whole team looks good. But if you're wide open at the back and everyone's bombing forward, it's not really great. So my thing is I liked it, but I also look at it from the perspective of you have spent way too much money on your defenders to play like that. If you had 10, 12 million defenders and you're like, bro, all my money is gone to the forwards, then play like that. Because that's where you put your money. If you put your money like that, then fair enough. You can't argue with it. It makes a lot of sense. You have spent a lot of money in defenders even, so you can't, I mean, at least I feel you can't live off of that. No, if they were 10, 20, 20, if they were, let's say the back four were total 80 million, maybe 100 million, then you're like, okay, yeah, cool. All your money is pushed forward. So that's what you expect in terms of gameplay. Here they had good defenders and it was just crazy. It was entertaining. It was back and forth, but it was also maybe a little too extreme.
It was. क्या कहते हैं,
on
we
on
needed to
on
tune down.
that is also something that is very debatable. Like, as a rival fan, even though I have no vested interest in Spurs and anything, it was just so pleasing and so fresh to the eyes the way he was playing football. I mean, no, you can't just say that. Yeah, of course it didn't work out for him because of the injuries, and we can all argue as to there were so many other issues with regards to that. I think, but with whatever players that he had, the way he started playing with, the way he enabled Madison, Son, and everybody, it was so amazing to see. Going into the Saturday, I was looking forward to watching Spurs play, and I'm going to talk about the FPL perspective. For the first time in my FPL career, I had 3-3 Spurs for like 4, 5, 7 weeks, because I knew going into those games, those are the players that are going to make me a lot of difference. That those are the people who are going to get me goals. Be it Son, be it Madison, or even in the defense as well. I think what Udogi was doing under him was amazing. I had never seen someone do what he was doing under him. So that is also one of the things that I enjoyed. But yeah, again, I also agree that it wasn't sustainable, as Manas Bhai and Nathan Bhai saying. I think it is a premium thing to just say that I'm going to play one way football, because we all saw what Pep did in his first season. And I think he got hammered by likes of Leicester 4-1, Everton 4-1. So you have to somehow, some way, get into that position where you can balance the game. And I think Ange, for all good football he played, I think he lacked that adaptability factor. That is what my take on Ange was at back then. But moving on to the next segment, where I really want to ask each of you, and I can start with Adit Bhai as well. So what is the thing that you're now going to expect from, let's say, Spurs? Because when I was drafting the stream, when I drafted the stream, I had no idea that they are going to appoint the manager interim. So I was about to ask you, ki, what are your thoughts? Do you want an interim manager, or do you want to see a manager who takes this as a preseason and then going forward gets into the project? But now, since they've appointed a manager, I would really want you to elaborate. And as to, I was even listening to the stream that you and Utkarsh Bhai were part of, where you were talking in depth of what this manager is all about. And I really would want to know as to what this manager is all about, and what are your personal expectations going forward with respect to Spurs.
Brother, क्या कहते हैं, for interim case, I was all in for interim manager, because World Cup के बाद there are many managers are gonna be free. पूरा क्या कहते हैं, wholesale market खुलेगा managers का. So I think that's the right way कि तुम ये season end तक कैसे निपटा दो. All I want from Tudor is to win 4 games. 4 गेम जीत, 40 पॉइंट का थ्रेशोल्ड क्रॉस करवा, एंड उसके बाद तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. एंड ही इज नोन फॉर, क्या कहते हैं, शॉर्ट टर्म इम्पैक्ट लेके आना. एंड आई थिंक ही डिड द सेम फॉर Lazio was in a relegation battle, got them out. Juventus was not able to get into Champions League. On the last day, he got them the Champions League. So, and fun fact about Tudor, he has never lasted in a club more than 1 year. His average tenure is 0.67 years. He is a short-term interim guy. Interim का बाप है वो, interim managers का. So he's coming.
Consultant manager.
भाई एकदम, क्या कहते हैं, I just
They've
want him to
appointed
get us
they've
out.
appointed the best possible guy that they could have in terms of appointing the interim manager. They've appointed the king.
Yeah. He is the interim manager, and उसको भी नहीं पड़े कि मेरे को, क्या कहते हैं, फुल वो चाहिए कि मुझे पूरा मैं वो दो. उसका इंटरिम है तो इंटरिम में कोई दिक्कत नहीं. सीजन एंड में हम देखते हैं क्या करना है. तो जून तक वी गॉट हिम, and really looking forward to, man. Okay, so what I have seen from his interviews, the way he plays, भाई वो क्या कहते हैं, इटालियन, सॉरी, हाँ, ही इटालियन, अपना वो, सॉरी, इटालियन पोस्टेकोग्लू, सेम अप्रोच, गुड मैनेजर. ही इज, क्या कहते हैं, टैक्टिक्स 3-4-3 ही प्लेज, बट मोर देन द टैक्टिक्स ही इज अबाउट द, क्या कहते हैं, प्लेयर मैनेज करना, मोटिवेट करना. एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई फील राइट नाउ, दैट्स व्हाट वी नीड. टैक्टिक्स जाए भाड़ में, प्लेयर्स जितने भी अवेलेबल हैं, दे नीड टू गिव एवरीथिंग फॉर द बैच, बिकॉज अंडर फ्रैंक nobody was playing for Frank and nobody was playing for Batch. Everybody was like done कि भाई क्या कर रहे हैं हम, हर मैच में कुछ और कर रहे हैं, हर मैच में हम बैकफुट पे बैठे हैं, एंड प्लेयर्स वर नॉट, क्या कहते हैं वो, अंदर से आग लगती है, जज्बा होता है, प्लेयर्स डिड नॉट हैव, बट अपना ट्यूडोर इज नोन टू डू दिस, क्या कहते हैं वो, प्लेयर्स के माइंड घुसता है, उनको मोटिवेट करता है, द सेम थिंग एंड यूज टू डू, सो दैट्स, एंड करंटली अभी आज की डेट में द क्लब एंड द फैंस में बहुत बड़ा डिस्कनेक्ट है, लाइक द फैंस हेट द क्लब एंड द, क्या कहते हैं, क्लब ऑल्सो हेट्स द फैन, ऐसा सिचुएशन हो गया, तो वी नीडेड अ मैन हु कैन ब्रिज ऐसा इन दोनों एंटिटीज को, एंड आई थिंक ट्यूडोर, आज का इंटरव्यू मैंने उसको देखा, ही इज सीम्स लाइक अ वेल स्पोकन पर्सन, अब इतने इंटरव्यू ही हैज, क्या कहते हैं, 6 अलग अलग लीग्स में ही हैज,
Don't fall for that well-spoken bit. By the way, just
that is
letting you
also
know.
true, that is, I
Don't
thought the
fall for
same for
that.
Frank as well, that I'll retract that, but yeah.
But I have a very good follow up question to Nathan Bhai. I think for whatever little I know of him, I think I've been a big fan of what he says and what he does. But I think one thing that I've seen him being very vocal is this back three thing. I think he's very vocal,
Oh
and
no, leave me
he
alone.
speaks at
Don't ask me about this, yeah, please.
and he has spoken at
I'm
length.
free, dude. I'm free. Please
Please,
don't
Nathan Bhai,
drag me back
just
into
for
this.
just for the stream's sake and just for the sake of people who might have missed out your analysis and your skepticism with respect to playing back three, I would really want you to have the stage for whatever you want to speak and for how much length you want to. Please, it would be so good for me, for the clips and for the stream as well. Please, Nathan
For
Bhai,
the
take the stage.
clips.
Classic gaslighting, by the way. Classic.
Okay.
आग लगा दो बस.
Let me start by saying the Italian league is absolute dog shit. That's how we,
Amen.
that's
Amen.
how that's
I
that's
can't
how we
also
start.
minute it.
But it's not because of the quality of players, it's the way they play football in Italy. Let me be very clear. A. B. The back three has never in England proven to be a long term, successful, sustainable formation. Ugh.
Go ahead, Nathan Bhai, please.
If anti football had a formation, it would be 3-4-3. What is a wing back? A man who is a lifelong confused person. What are 2 10s? They might as well be 2 5s. Are they too scared to stand in the middle of the pitch and do work? I need 1 10. I got a guy named Bruno. I don't need 2 10s. What do you need 2 10s for? They can what, play hopscotch in the middle behind the striker. I don't want this. I don't need this in my life. Yeah, just put two slow people behind me to block passing lanes and hurt people, and one person in front of them to start ripping people open, and we're all good. I don't need 2 people on the wide hand side. They're playing patty cake. They're going up and down, up and down. It's like they have that running app on them. Look at me. I'm going this way this much. I'm going this way this much. I don't care. Defend. Please defend. I don't care if you can cross a ball. It's not that impressive anymore. People barely cross anyway. Just defend. All of you all fall back. Please, you two at the far ends, please stand back. Third center back, go grab a water. Sit down. We don't need you hovering around for a bounce pass. Okay? Just let's play football, people. Please. That's all I'm asking.
Amazing,
Just
amazing.
football.
Amazing. Manas bhai, do you also subscribe to this extreme philosophy, or do you have?
Extreme philosophy. Oh no.
Yeah,
Like
you
then the
have,
players
you
play
have
football.
to. I know. You played it very safe,
Highly
Nathan. Bhai,
extreme.
to be honest, when you said that it's not a long term sustainability thing. That term long term itself is a very safe thing to say, because had you not said that, I would have straight away told you that, or reminded you that Conte did win a Premier League with playing back three, and so many Italians managed.
Oh.
I think the Inter Milan Inter Milan team that went on to let's say play Champions League final
When,
was a factory.
went on to give two new teams European status. Don't forget.
No, that is
Yeah.
like, that is down to Lukaku, your player, bhai. He
Oh,
was the
he's
real
never been
culprit.
my listen. The trampoline toes that shall not be named has never ever been a player I want. If I want to see a bouncy castle, I go to a park. Thank you. I don't need to watch it on a football pitch. Thank you very much. Okay.
Amazing, amazing. Manas bhai, your take on back three, please, before we get into the
I
last bit of it.
don't, I don't, I don't subscribe to like this one system is the best or anything. Everything has a purpose because like even Arsenal's like when Arteta came 2021 was built on 3-4-3. So when you
Yeah.
don't have the players, you probably go a little bit more pragmatic, but you don't get married to that philosophy, right? If your philosophy is actually 3-4-3, fine. But if it isn't, you don't marry into it. Like Amorim did for a long time, but you sort of it's safe and it gives you a good base. But I don't subscribe to a one system like this is best or this is how you should play football or whatever.
Uh, Beautiful. But before we get into the last part of the stream, and I would really urge everybody, 23, 24 people are watching, again, just one more time, please, if you haven't, please subscribe to Onside Banjara, Sportsnet Nathan, and also check out Manas Bhai's podcast that he runs, that is Pot Shot. It's also there in the description. एक minute लगेगा आप लोग को, but it would mean a lot to me and to everybody else who is involved here. I think a quality stream has been already given catered to a lot of audience, and I think a lot of people would also agree that this is something which is very different to what people are doing. I'm not claiming that I am the pioneer of that, but this is what I wanted to create. I really wanted to have an intellectual discussion with regards to the topics that I am interested in, and I think I got the perfect panel to describe what I really wanted to do in this particular stream. So please just do the honors. एक बार एक मिनट लगता है आप लोग को, कर दो please please. So
Bhai,
on
before we move on to the next segment, I want to ask question. What's with the yellow room, brother? ये yellow
अच्छा,
का क्या
okay,
है
so
system है?
I've not so there's nothing to it, bhai. It's just a marketing gimmick that I thought. I'll tell you why. Because I really wanted to create let's say a persona where I get three guests from different clubs, one whose club is at the issue, like let's say this particular stream, it's Tottenham. So I wanted to get the best possible person of that particular club to help me understand and the rest of my people as to what is happening at that club, and that topic has to be very relevant and very recent. So what the idea was to get four people, one as a fan who is involved, the other two who have very strong opinions in terms of and who understand as to what they want to talk about. So मेरे पास और कुछ नाम नहीं था, और नाम मुझे ऐसा चाहिए था जो थीम से मैच करे. तो ये जो येलो रूम है, द येलो थिंग इज बिकॉज जो डेमो वर्जन में देयर इज ओनली वन थिंग व्हिच इज प्लेन, द बैकग्राउंड. अगर ये
अच्छा
काला होता तो मैं इसको ब्लैक रूम कर देता, रेड होता तो रेड रूम कर देता, ग्रीन होता तो ग्रीन रूम कर देता. तो आई ओनली काइंड ऑफ फाउंड आउट कि सिर्फ येलो है, तो आई जस्ट बिल्ड द होल पर्सोना अराउंड इट कि येलो रूम है, येलो रूम है, जस्ट टू इट्स जस्ट अ मार्केटिंग गिमिक, नथिंग एल्स. द होल
भाई ये तो फिर स्पर्स वाली बात होगी कि जो है इसी से काम चलाना पड़ेगा.
वही है. अब क्या कर सकते हैं भाई, यही है. मैं मैन सिटी जितना अमीर नहीं हूं ना. आई कैन गेट द पेड वर्जन ऑफ द प्रीमियर. सो दैट्स व्हाई एंड आई रियली वांटेड टू, मतलब आई काइंड ऑफ बिल्ड एन आईपी so that people can remember as to yeah कि एक ऐसा कुछ होता है, and I wanted to name it in a way कि यार it is easily remember, मतलब आप याद रखेगा आप इंसान. ऐसा उल्टा पुल्टा नाम रखने से अच्छा एक ऐसा नाम रख दो, ऐसा शब्द यूज कर लो तो शायद लोगों को याद रहे. If anybody who was part of this stream as in chats and everybody who they would also remember it कि यार यहाँ पर एक इस तरह की बातें होती हैं, and they can again go back and see the series as well. So first episode I did last Tuesday. It was with Lala Bhai, Ash Bhai, and Suraj Bhai, and they we were talking about slot. And I think it was an amazing discussion. I really loved, I really enjoyed it. And the idea then came ki why not, if we have talking at length with respect to what Liverpool were doing and why Liverpool have not exceeded the expectation that we had, why not talk about Spurs? Because उसी समय एंच का वो आ गया था, इंटरव्यू आ गया था, and I really wanted to get into that. और मानस भाई को अब मैं बहुत दिनों से चाहता था कि मानस भाई, but I really wanted
Excuse me.
in such a stream where I think I can also give him the space to talk, and I could listen to him. So I really wanted you to have that space as well. And Nathan भाई को तो मैं चाहता ही हूँ कि हमेशा आ जाए मेरी स्ट्रीम पे. So that is how the theme is around yellow room. तो बस उतना ही है भाई, और कुछ नहीं है. मतलब अगर आप लोग को समझ आ गया होगा मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूँ, बिकॉज आई रैम्बल्ड अ लॉट इन ट्राइंग टू सिंप्लीफाई करके नहीं बता पाया, बट दैट इज ऑल द थीम इज कि 4 लोगों को लेके आना, 3 बेसिकली, चौथा मैं, एंड जस्ट टू गेट इनटू द डिस्कशन एज टू व्हाट इज बीइंग रेलेवेंट। और ये इसलिए भी जरूरी था बिकॉज ऑन द लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ इट आई देयर इज अ वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट ऑफ मी एज अ सिटी फैन, because I really want to touch upon the North London derby, and I think what best
Hmm.
people to have than Manas Bhai and Banjara Bhai on it, क्योंकि यहाँ सिटी पे भी बहुत अफेक्ट करेगा ये रिजल्ट, ईदर वे, इफ इट गोज ईदर वे इट इज गोइंग टू गिव अ लॉट ऑफ मोमेंटम टू आर्सेनल if they can pull out one more victory over Spurs. But if somehow Spurs stops him, then it is going to be amazing title. It is going into last 10-11 games. So I'll straight away go into that thing, and I'm going to start with Manas Bhai. Manas Bhai, first of all, are you bit scared, skeptical, nervous about the appointment of the new manager, or are you also a firm believer that there is a new manager bounce, or are you rest assured that it is not going to happen and you are going to go unscathed against Spurs, because the records are very well in your favor in recent times?
Like, see, I feel new manager bounce will be there because Spurs are on a very low point. But I don't really know what he is about. So we'll see. So I literally do not know who he is or what sort of football we are going to see. But I do imagine, because see, in big games, tactics, strategy, form, everything goes out of the window. It's like people start playing for the badge and everything. It's a big game. So it's a different energy, and anything can happen in a North London derby. So we've seen some classic games over the past. So I would say that I am wary of the new manager bounce, but I think we should be up for it. Yeah, we have to win. We have to keep 4-6 points gap between us and City into the last 10 games. I think. Otherwise, I think we might let it slip.
Sure. Adit Bhai, your take on, do you also believe the hype of the new manager thing, or it's just the smoke
Bhai,
screen?
Igor is gonna spank Arteta's ass. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. kidding. कहते हैं भाई देखो, I need to believe क्या कहते हैं that we are not losing this game. We are not. New manager bounce has to happen. Brother, I don't want to buy a fan code का subscription for championship. इसलिए every game is a must important for me. ठीक है, and this was the right time.
You're not
10
you're
दिन का
not you're
gap.
not excited to do watch-alongs with Suraj and Utkarsh? Swansea
I'll do
versus
that.
Spurs?
उसके भाई मैं वैसे ही कर लूंगा यार. I would rather have Swansea come to the Premier League, man. I can't, man. क्या कहते हैं 46 matches midweek, नौकरी मेरी खतरे में आ जाएगी.
You know what's the best part? The best part is every match will be, can you do it at a cold night in Stoke?
Yeah,
Oh.
Every
भाई
match will be that.
imagine, man,
In the middle of
imagine.
England.
God, I really don't. मेरे को ठीक है सैटरडे संडे वाला सेटअप सही लगता है. I really don't want any midweek matches unless and until we win Champions League, but that is so different thing. ठीक है. So for the NLD, I think we're not losing the game. I really want to believe that, and I think minimum draw है because we need to, man, because there is no because any reason. I really need to. भाई बहुत टाइम हो गया यार नहीं जीते हुए. बहुत ज्यादा टाइम हो गया जब से इनका सेकंड आने का सिलसिला चालू हुआ, तब से जीत ही नहीं रहे हैं, तब से पिटाई होती जा रही है. तो अब पीटने की बारी है, या एटलीस्ट ब्लॉक करो, कुछ करो, and create some chaos, and that's all I want to believe, and that is all I'm gonna say. We are not losing the game. That's it.
Manas bhai, are you concerned with respect to the injuries? And also, I really want to ask you, because I forgot that, are you also one of those people who really think that this midweek fixtures, game by game, that the amount of time that is between two games for Arsenal, do you also think it's unfair? And also, are you a bit nervous with regards to injuries that are happening to your players right now?
Injuries are always going to be part of the game now. Yeah, people are like, if we hypothetically end up going to the Champions League final, it is going to be a 70 game season, maybe more. That is insane. For comparison, Man United are playing 38 games or like 40 games this season.
40
right?
games.
40.
40 games this season. So there is a pro and con for both, but for 70 game season is unparalleledly incredibly bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. So football is now at a point that we have to like go through this, and injuries are always like they are going to be नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट इंजरीज नाउ इन द स्क्वाड. सबको होंगी है, सबके स्क्वाड में है, ऐसा नहीं है. देयर इज नो स्क्वाड who's playing 3 games a week, 2 games a week, who doesn't have injuries. So it's just part of the game. You have to deal with it. You have to have a 25-man squad, and you have to rotate. You have to manage the minutes and the load.
So are you happy with the way he is rotating? Because I found it very
This season, much more,
amusing.
I would say.
But I found it very amusing. I don't know if you can correct me on that. The Wigan lineup, I was a bit surprised because I understand there were a lot of injuries, and I think playing Saka and everybody, I hope he didn't have any other players to pick, because I kind of think he could have just similar to what City did. I think they rested all their key players because that was the only window from now till going on to the end of the season where we got a 1 year, one week rest. So I think he took that opportunity. He rested likes of Haaland, Cherki, Semenyo, and everybody else, so that they're ready for the last phase. And I think I was a bit surprised with the selection that he took for the Wigan game. Were you as surprised, or do you think that was the only thing that he could have done, or do you agree with whatever he chose to play?
I think there's mitigating factors for what I think Odegaard's injured, so he had to put somebody in that position. So he chose Saka, who is coming back from an injury. So you need to build his minutes. Right? You just can't throw him on immediately on in a Premier League game. Maybe so that is maybe the thought process there. So I think it's basically managing load. So you get some data from your medical team. You say, "Bhai, this guy can do maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes in this game." You manage that load on the muscle, and then you just rotate. So I think it's a calculated. These are very calculated decisions. Like हम लोग बहुत isolation में we talk about these things, but obviously manager will want the my best players play every game, but you have
Of
to be
course.
realistic.
No, but I'll tell you why. This is not a lazy analysis, Manas, but I'm very honest. I'll tell you why, because I think I had blamed Pep for doing the same thing, and for whatever length I've supported Man City, this is one of the criticisms that I've always had with Pep, that he in his head thinks that playing the same team again and again is going to help build a momentum, which then helps the team to get into those mindset to just go on that run. It has happened for City. I wouldn't agree it has happened to City, but I think a lot has changed in last 2 years with respect to the amount of games that these players are playing, also the injuries and everything. And I think sometimes he is a suspect, because I remember he had a choice not to play his first 11 against let's say a Brentford or Sunderland, whoever it was, in a cup competition. He ended up playing all of them, and the next thing we know, against Chelsea, we lose two of our centre backs. He could have avoided it. Personally, and I think maybe Arteta, because he had spent so much time with Pep, maybe that is also one of the reasons. I am not aware, but it's something that I am very skeptical with respect to Pep. When you have players, when you can bring him in, you should be bringing, because I think I've been very critical. He treats some of the players very differently to, let's say, some of the players that he really likes, and I have always failed to misunderstand as to why he does that. I remember watching Lewandowski's interview where Rio asked him straight away as to what is the difference between Pep Guardiola and a Jurgen Klopp, and he said Jurgen is more like a father. So let's say if I have a personal issue regarding my family, I can knock the door 2 a.m. in the morning, and Jurgen would make a coffee for me. He would speak at length. He would develop my personality, and that is also really important in football. That emotional quotient is also really, and that is why players would die for him on the field. He said what he said about Pep is he said Pep is very demanding. He gives you a lot of information. He demands a lot of attention from you. He's very into those attention of detail, that you should move this way, you shouldn't move, your hip should be at this angle, that angle. And what he said, which I really want to emphasize, is he said not every player is built for Pep Guardiola's system. So you have to be mentally very, very, very strong to first understand what he wants from you, second to accept, and then do it. So that is why maybe that is one of the reasons he is not choosing the players that they have on the bench right now, because I personally felt we could have avoided a lot of injuries this season had we not run down all our players. So if you see, there was a time period where we were playing Haaland from the first game till January. He didn't even get a single minute rest. The season when we won those trebles and everything, every 60 minutes I remember he used to remove Haaland, irrespective of whether Haaland had scored a hat trick or he had given a blank. He would remove Haaland because he knew it's important for him to have the fresh mindset, and also to think that मेरे पास सिर्फ 60 मिनट है जो करना है करने के लिए. I think lack of quality players also is one of the reasons that he's doing it. But for me, I straight away put it to Arteta as well, because he has spent so much time with Pep that sometimes he also does that. That is just my honest opinion. I might be wrong on that as well,
It
but that is
could
what
be
I
on
see.
managing style, like, and there's always this tension where medical staff goes and says, "Bhai, isko nahi khilana hai." But
Yeah,
manager says, "No, I want to put him on. I'm giving 30
yeah.
minutes, 40 minutes."
Yeah, you remember this is
And
the
sometimes,
classic.
yeah,
Manas bhai, sorry to cut you, this is the classic case with respect to I think Saliba Anfield wale game mein, where I think medical team had warned him that there's slight
there was
niggle, but he
a,
said, yeah, but he
yeah.
said, "No,
And
I really
like,
want him to play," and then
so
exactly in
sometimes
two
you
minutes.
also respect the players. If player says, "Okay, I'm feeling fine, I can do it," and then you land awkwardly, and then you've pulled an hamstring. Same, I think, and sometimes it just happens. Right, it happened with Mosquera in the start of the season. He's just new. He was playing against Liverpool, and he just did his hamstring from
Yeah,
nowhere. Like he just landed, and it's very weird. So sometimes it happens on impact. Sometimes it's non-contact. There is science there, like up to bahut hi zyada hai, but even then, like there's always going to be this tension. Also, these people are doing insane number of minutes. Managers also are under extreme pressure to win season on season on season. So I don't think there is anything कि obviously style पे भी depend करता ही है. And are you telling me that Klopp didn't rinse his front
no,
three for
but
three
he
entire
in
seasons?
Lewandowski. Sorry to cut you out again, bhai. He said very categorically that what Klopp does, it is not at all sustainable for more than 3 years. He said that himself. He admitted it. What the way Klopp builds his team, it is not sustainable to, let's say, for 6 7 years. But on the other hand, Pep, we have seen it's his ninth year in the management with regards to City, and he won 7 titles out of it. So his style is very different, and it is very notable this season that he somehow has played the same 11 for so long, which was uncharacteristic, let's say, 3 seasons ago. So that is one thing that needs a lot of
Rotate a
discussion
lot.
other day. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
maybe
at
some
some
other day.
point, City also in the last 2 years they reduced their squad. Like the squad was very
So
very
he,
small.
yeah, so he wanted that squad, and I think that is one
He
reason
talked about
we went
a
into that
core group of
limbo.
18 players, and then like there were 7 players he would just not use at all.
Yeah, but I think you would also agree, and I think Nathan Bhai would also agree. If you are competing for four trophies day in day out with, let's say, World Cup and that Nation League and whatever pathetic international football that they play, you need players, right? So I think I remember him saying he needs a less squad. The board went into that philosophy. Seven of our players got injured last season, and we were like on the brink of getting out of, let's say, the top six race at one point of time. We were pathetic in the Champions League, and when once his players got back, he again made sure that we somehow finish in the top four. And that is why this season, when he said again that he wants a lesser squad, board was like, "Nah, bhai, ek baar teri sun liya humne. It doesn't work in the Premier League. Yes, you are the manager, but we also have certain responsibilities as club, like say sporting director or CEO or whatever, that we need a set of 25 players." And look, again, this is what has happened. We had to buy likes of Gehi, Semenyo, because we were so injury prone in that period that we had to play a 17-year-old guy who none of the City fans knew. That is Max Allen. We had to get him back from Watford and play him in the, let's say, the Manchester
Yes.
derby. So that also is one of the aspect, that not everything that manager says has to be applied to. Sometimes you also have to take your own decision, and I subscribe to that philosophy that you have to have a big squad if you're competing for the 4 trophies. That is what my take would be. But before we close on to the stream, because it's been at length, I really want to I have one cheeky question to Nathan Bhai before we end it. Think, Nathan Bhai, and I really want you to be candid as you have been throughout the stream.
3-4-3 again.
Are are Spurs in a real danger of getting relegated, Nathan Bhai? And please be candid.
I really think so. Actually, I really think so. The real worry for me is Nuno.
Nuno?
Yeah, because I feel like West
Acha,
Ham are
okay.
going to pass Spurs eventually, even, which means they have to rely on Forest, who's currently technically closer to them right now. But I feel like Nuno is going to pull clear. So that 18th spot is up for grabs. I think Leeds also are starting to have some momentum. I don't think Leeds are going to get relegated. There'll definitely be two promoted teams this season, staying up. I'm looking at that Nuno team and going, I don't know, man.
So
I really
let me
think they
ask
are
you.
in trouble.
Let me
I
ask you
really
one
do.
follow up question. That who are the three teams that you're thinking are going down this season? Then, because you were
Well,
very interested in the relegation battle as well.
about before the turn of the new year, I was almost certain it's Burnley, West Ham, and Wolves. Now I'm only
Okay.
sure it's Wolves and Burnley. I'm not really sure. This third team between 16 to 18, it literally could be any
So
of them.
it could be Forest West. It could be
It
Forest,
could be for West Ham or Spurs. Yeah.
and you are sure that Leeds is going to survive the relegation.
I think Leeds are building momentum and they couldn't pick a better time to build momentum because they need to get away from the relegation spots now if they want to stay up now before the pressure gets too much for them.
Yeah. Manas, by your thoughts, your parting thoughts on whether they are
I
in
think
reality. Yeah.
if like get closer to the relegation spot doesn't light a fire under everyone's asses at Spurs, I don't know what else will
Yeah.
happen. I think obviously I don't think they'll get relegated here because that would be very 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 bad for everyone involved, top to bottom for the club. It would be very very bad. It is very close right now. So by the way, the 40 points right now, the team is seventh. So this
Oh,
is the
Except,
this is the level of the Premier
yeah,
League.
yeah.
by Utkarsh Bhai is here on the chats. By another amazing
I think
Spurs
Utkarsh will be relieved because he said he's going to watch what Atletico. He's going to support Atletico Madrid next year. I'm going to assume
No,
he already
so
has
the
the jersey sorted. So
inside joke with respect to Utkarsh Bhai is for people who don't know कि ध्रुव भाई ने एक narrative set किया है, which is kind of true as well. I don't know if Utkarsh Bhai would take offense of that or not, but I would still go ahead and say कि Dhruv has said whichever team Utkarsh watches in a watch along loses that game. So he has had a very very decent argument to let's say क्योंकि वो जब जब भी लिवरपूल के मैचेस देखते हैं then Liverpool loses. I think the last night he said that I'm going to watch Barcelona and Barcelona lost. So there is a certain truth to it, and I think Utkarsh Bhai would someday come and explain as to why people say that about him. But uske pehle yaar, please do check out High on Football, a brother to me as well. I think amazing person, amazing personality. Please check out his channel as well. और वो ऑलरेडी बहुत फेमस है और उन्हें बहुत ज्यादा प्यार और देकर फेमस करिए जरूर. Last but not the least, Banjara bhai, your take whether you are in serious relegation battle or do you think it's just for the papers and you're going to be safe at the end of it?
यार फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ना क्या कहते हैं, मैं थोड़ा म्यूट अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज माई स्पीकर माई हेडफोन्स का चार्ज खत्म हो गया है. तो रिगार्डिंग द रिलेगेशन भाई मेरी लेजर फट रही है भाई, मेरी फटी बड़ी है. मेरे को डर है क्योंकि इट्स स्टैटिस्टिकली इट इज पॉसिबल कि दैट वी कैन गेट रिलेगेटेड एंड द फिक्चर्स दैट वी हैव उसमें बहुत खतरनाक फिक्चर्स हैं एंड देर इज नॉट एन ईजी रन. तो इट इज टफ मैन, जस्ट 5 पॉइंट डिफरेंस, बट एज मान एज ऑल्सो सेड कि 40 पॉइंट वाली टीम 7वें पोजीशन पे. तो अगर इफ वी विन फ्यू नेक्स्ट गेम्स तो एनीथिंग कैन हैपन. इट इज वेरी मच पॉसिबिलिटी कि हर गेम वीक में ऊपर नीचे कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो वी जस्ट हैव टू टेक मैच बाय मैच, get the maximum points. Losing is not an option anymore. We just cannot lose. We have to get even a draw. मतलब विक्ट्री के लिए फाइट करो. आज हमारे इगोर भाई साहब ने बोल दिया है कि आई डोंट नो अ मैनेजर हु फाइट्स फॉर अ ड्रॉ और अ लॉस. ही ऑलवेज गोज फॉर अ विन. तो लेट्स सी मैन. होपफुल, आई एम वेरी होपफुल, बट थोड़ा डर तो है.
So for me, I mean, I have only one thing to say about with respect to what Spurs are doing. But जो करना है करो, just take certain points away from Arsenal because you took a lot of points from us as well. So it's fair on us as well कि आप Arsenal को भी कहीं से रोको because we really need someone to step up and stop this beautiful Arsenal team. And for whatever it's worth, I am not of that belief कि ये वो. I think the best team should win the league every time period, and if it's Arsenal then be it. But I'm drawn into this belief again somehow, which I find it very amusing कि ये कैसे हो गया. On that very day at Anfield, I personally thought it's game over for us when Szoboszlai hit that free kick, and look how tables have turned in just 1 week. And going into that Etihad fixtures, I'm really excited because the last time Arsenal won there was at 2015, if I remember correctly. I think Giroud and Santi Cazorla had beautiful games. Santi Cazorla dribbling past Fernandinho, Yaya Toure, and David Silva, and that was the last game which I remember them winning at Etihad. But again, please Spurs and Adhit Bhai and everybody who supports Spurs, कुछ करके भाई, just take some points out of them so that it becomes even more interesting. But with respect to what we did today, yaar, it's one of those episodes where we laughed, where we discussed a lot of complex issues, and I think I don't know if we got into a place where we ourselves understood as to what we are talking about, but I think all of us made a lot of sense in trying to understand what is wrong with Spurs. But thank you so much. I would really want to say thank you to everybody who was part of this beautiful stream. Banjara bhai, Nathan bhai, Soz, Manas bhai. And before I close the stream, yaar, ek aur please small sa plug in hai. Please do like the stream because it really helps the algorithm push the video. Also, please check out Sports with Nathan, On Side Banjara, and Manas bhai's podcast, that is Spot Shot. सबके डिस्क्रिप्शन में है लिंक्स, आप जाके एक क्लिक करिए, सुनिए, आपको खुद पता चल जाएगा कितनी क्वालिटी है इन सबके पास. एंड इट वाज one of the most beautiful things that I tried to do, and I'm so proud of it as well. So thank you. And anything that you guys want to say before we end the stream? Banjara bhai, I'll start with you.
यार आई वांट टू से क्या कहते हैं, गुड स्ट्रीम, ठीक है, गुड कॉन्सेप्ट अबाउट टेकिंग द पॉइंट्स एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट फुटबॉल, मतलब बकचोदी बैंटर, आई थिंक दैट चलता रहता है. एवरीबडी, आई थिंक इन एवरी स्ट्रीम, इन एवरी चैनल, सबका मेन मोटिव रहता है कि भाई हमारी क्लिप कैसे कट जाए, एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई विल. बट दिस स्ट्रीम हैज बीन ऑलवेज क्या कहते हैं, टू द पॉइंट, एंड आई थिंक इट्स इन्फो काफी अच्छा कहते हैं, इन्फॉर्मेशन वाइज इट्स अ गुड स्ट्रीम एंड इट्स अ गुड कॉन्सेप्ट दैट यू स्टार्टेड. वकील साहब सही कर रहे हो.
Thank you so much. Nathan bhai, your parting thoughts, if you want to say something about the stream or something like that.
I mean, I love the concept of the stream, and we kept calm, and it was mostly serious and light-hearted banter, which is great because it was a serious discussion. For any Spurs fan watching, I believe it or not, I actually feel very bad because I've watched enough Spurs football to feel internally disappointed at what I'm watching, even though I don't support Spurs. So hopefully this is the end of a long, very, very long 2 years, and hopefully we can at least see some exciting football moving into the next season.
Yeah, Manas bhai, your parting thoughts, if you want to say something about the stream or anything in general.
I would say, yeah, thanks for having me first of all. And like, you don't see a lot of this content going around on YouTube, at least in terms of like the Indian football scene. For me, at least, I don't actually engage with a lot of it. But this is the content that I have seen in some of the best podcasts that I follow. Like, I don't know if you guys do the Athletic Wala and John McKinsey and all of that. But yes, this is more like my speed, more calm. Like, I really enjoyed it. So like good, and it's been 2 years, hours, man. So that's great.
Thank you so much, bhai. I mean, this is what I really wanted to achieve with respect to this particular stream, and I wanted to take time out from my schedule to just give myself at least 2 hours in a week where I can get people who really understand one what they're speaking, also to educate me and everybody else who's there listening, because I kind of found this as well, as you pointed out and as Banjara bhai pointed out. I think it's a very short niche. I might not get the views and all, but I don't even care about those things because I really want, once I really want to go back and see as to what I have done in my journey. I really would want to see such content because मैं इतना जान ही नहीं पाता. अगर मैं खुद भी बैठता स्पर्स के बारे में पढ़ने लिखने तो नहीं जान पाता. I think we had a lot of beautiful perspectives, and the best thing about it, I also enjoy these vibes more, where it's more of a serious discussion and less of a friendly banter, because it's also necessary, rather than we just nitpicking everything and saying some weird stuff. But thank you so much, guys, for being part of this beautiful stream. For people who have not liked it, yaar, please, it just takes one moment of you. Please do like the stream. क्योंकि like वाइक कर देते हो तो बढ़ जाता है वीडियो. Please do it, and don't be a conjuice like Spurs owners are. And do subscribe to On Side Banjara, Sports with Nathan, and Manas bhai. And I'd urge everybody. I'd urge Nathan bhai and Banjara bhai, if you have not checked out what Potshot is all about, do give it a listen, and you would be amazed the quality that Manas bhai and everybody involved in that Potshot is producing. and a lot of people need to listen to that. A lot of people need to appreciate that, and that is also one of the reasons I really wanted to have Manas by here, so that people can first hand experience as to what he's all about. And once you hear him in Potshot, you would really want to hear him even more. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, beautiful stream. Until next time, goodbye guys, goodbye, take care.